from Senegal. She come back to daddy when I Senegal. Daddy at the general. Half to pay the lawyer just to stay out the federal. Big man pull up like a sentinel. Big gold chain on me neck, me and several. Made the girl hyper. Half to settle down. Ginseng roof for the second round. Knock out in the car. Rubber man take a gun. Not a little, plenty. My quartz crystals never empty. There'll be no knots that fret me. Bitter like root tea, I'll use whatever works like Bruce Lee. You only need a little like Tootsie. Baby had a biggie, it was juicy. I like it really weird like kooky. I switch my style up every year, it's a new me. You thought you knew me, let me introduce me.
I'm getting sick of bitches having opinions, and that's all I get to see is fat black bitches, old white bitches, dykes.
Yo, good morning, welcome. I don't think I'm gonna be here that long. We'll see, but let's go ahead and drop the link early. I need to get a better mic too, but even though this one's supposed to be good, but let's go ahead and drop the link early because we're just hanging out today, Sunday service. I'm mad. I'm mad that this copyright shit is so serious because I really want to play "How Did You Get Here" by Deborah Cox right now because I feel like that would be good for the show. That would be good for the show. How did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. I tried that loving for the last time. My heart said, yo, I don't get, yo. That might have been some simpy ass music back in the days and weird shit, but if you're not simping and being over emotional shit makes the best music, man. Music became trash when people stopped saying love in music. When the word love, meaning like loving a person, a woman, when that wasn't like, when niggas started talking more about loving their weed and their gun and their shit and loving their niggas, then the music became trash. You feel me? You gotta love a bitch to make fire music. And that's the danger. That's the danger of it. But you gotta sacrifice something to make fire music. You know what I'm saying? So, all the artists out there, I know you want to be super tough, but how about you love a bitch so you can make some good music? You know what I'm saying? Don't love a bitch forever, though. That shit'll fuck you up. But just for a while to make some good music. You feel me? You feel me? Yeah, I dropped the link early. See if anybody passes through. I'm just gonna talk my shit. I'm just gonna talk my shit. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I had this set up, but I saw that our little babies might have dropped something new. So we'll kick it with them for like a couple minutes, and then we'll see if somebody pulls up. If not, then I'll just start the show. Yes, Bama by Bama. Welcome, brother. You can come on down to the altar and give your testimony if you like. This is Sunday morning. It is an open panel. You can come up, talk crazy. You feel me? No blasphemy on this day. We're celebrating the Lord and all that fly shit today. So no blasphemy today, guys. You feel me? Keep the blasphemy to a minimum. I was gonna start the show with some gospel music because that is some high frequency, high energy music. Regardless of the, how should I say? Because the roots are wrong. The roots is the real magical shit. Regardless of the religious connotations and all that shit, yeah, gospel's some real shit. But I don't want to deal with the copyright strike right now. They take my videos down, and I just don't give a shit. I don't go and cut things out or take the video down. It is what it is, you know. I'm pretty sure I've been shadow banned to hell. My numbers were going up, and now they're just fucked. So it is what it is. I know enough people already did it. It's good. It's good. So let's see what's going on here. We're just gonna kick it, talk shit for a couple minutes, then I'll get into the actual show. So let me pull our booze up, and let me light some weed up. Let's go.
じゃあ始まりましたイエーイオミですそこですリナですよろしくお願いします今日はイヤホンガンガン伝言ゲームイエーイ
Yo, the dope thing about Japanese, because I live in South Florida and I've been practicing Spanish, teaching myself for a while, so I can understand a decent amount, you know? So when Spanish bitches are talking, I kind of understand what's going on. The great part about Japanese is I've been watching these bitches for a while, and I still have no idea what these bitches are saying. I have no idea what's going on, what they're talking about, nothing. I had to see you're cute there and you're half naked. You feel me? I don't need to know nothing beyond that.
何何も聞こえないよ始まったちょっと待って準備できたら叩いてもらって言ってもらって OK いい OK
Yo, Bama fight Bama. You never hit the link, bro. Even when I see you over there on the other homie channel, you never hit the link. You one of them non-link hitting niggas, man. I know you don't want to chill on the panel. You feel me? But just hit the link and say something one time so we know you're. Excuse me. So we know you're not a Russian bot. You feel me?
演術クッパ演習率はパイ偏頭痛になったクッパ演習率
Even though I don't understand shit that these hoes are talking about, I can still tell they ain't talking about nothing.
むずくない最後編集率はパイ
And this might be the only time it's not dangerous to listen to a woman. Only when they seem to be coming off as pleasant and you have no idea what they're saying. That's the only time that is, I could say, is kind of safe to talk to a bitch. You know what I'm saying? But let's go.
いっぱいおっぱいいっぱいおっぱいエロいしさいっぱいおっぱい編集したいっぱいおっぱいエロいしさいっぱい
We get one more comment in the chat rooms, whatever. I just know that I'm getting some engagement, then we'll go into the actual show. Not from you, Bama. You're already here, nigga. You count as one. Shout out to you.
何絶対そうでしょ青みたい何編集したいっぱいおっぱい編集したいっぱいおっぱい編集してる答えは編集率はパイ編集率はパイ編集したらいっぱいおっぱいエロいしさ
And the thing is, you bitches got their little tops on or whatever, but this is just for the show. You feel me? I'm in Miami. I walk out in the streets, and bitches are way more naked than this just in the streets, you know? I can't even go anywhere. Can't even walk to goddamn Whole Foods without being sexually harassed, you know? Badass Latina, South American bitches everywhere. Eastern European goddamn bitch from Belarus in my goddamn sauna got her cheeks out in my face. Like, I'm not supposed to see these fucking sweaty, well worked out, doing squats every day cheeks in my fucking face. Come on, man.
オッケーじゃあ日本の曲にするわ題名をどうしようか
Like I said, one more person comments in the chat and we get into the actual show. You feel me? We have a loose topic today. We have you can see the link is in the chat. I dropped it early. Could have just hanging out.
それでは伝言ゲームのお題は知ったかぶりあおみんさん
ねえ知ったかぶ
I know these hoes are having fake fun online to tap into the simp economy and get money out of simps or whatever. But even their fake fun is less annoying than the bitches over here. You know, bitches over here be pretending like they have personalities and pretending like they're having fun and shit. And you're just like, they're just putting on a show. Like, bitch, I can see the show. I can see you.
チンかゆいから青みこれ大丈夫チンかゆいから青みさん
Be real, maybe I should get right into the show. Maybe I shouldn't wait for you niggas. You feel me? So I said one more. Like I usually text a couple of people, but I'm not gonna text anybody. If you show up, you show up. If he dies, he dies. You feel me? But let's do this right here. Yeah, I want to say thank you to Japanese women for being a person that I can't understand, and you just look nice and pleasant. You feel me? Shout out to you. Just for being you. I would do a Japanese woman appreciation stream, but it seems like every stream is a Japanese woman appreciation stream. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm not waiting for you niggas. Let's get right into the show. Let's get into the show. Well, the first thing I want to get into, and like I said, the dangers of listening to women, it'll make you weird. It'll make you fucked up. Like, you think that you're coming up with logical statements and you're using your intelligence to formulate ideas and hypotheses and all types of shit like that, when you're just a fucking idiot, because the base of your hypothesis is based on what hoes say. So you started up with a false premise at the beginning of your research. You feel me? Building your hypotheses to follow your scientific method and all that shit. You started with a false premise. You feel me? But let's get into it. Let me pull this up. And like, every time I go onto my old channel and that weird algorithm I have over there, I see things that I used to like look into. And from at one point, the whole black pill niggas that say they can't get any pussy, that was very interesting to me because I'm an empathetic person. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, now let me explain this to you. My intelligent mind, my regular mind is saying, okay, they're making sense. This is logic. It seems to be 1 + 1 = 2. But we're also talking about bitches. 1 + 1 never equals 2. So I kind of empathize with them. Like, nigga, you can't get no pussy. It is what it is. But at least you can hang out online and tell funny jokes. You feel me? At least you can get into some dark comedy online. But yeah. So I thought these guys were funny guys. So, and I'm very I dive into these subcultures on the internet all the time. And after finding this one, I was like, all right, this is kind of fucked up. But I thought these guys were funny guys. So, and I like dark comedy. So it'd just be there like laughing and shit, like, oh, we're all just talking crazy and shit, you know what I'm saying? But then I realized that niggas weren't just talking crazy. Niggas are dead ass thinking this is some scientific shit they're talking about. And these are people who fancy themselves as intelligent, so, or high IQ as they like to say. So these guys fancy themselves as intelligent or high IQ or whatever. So you can't tell them shit. This is what people don't understand this concept. You can be so smart that you're stupid. You feel me? You can think your way into some dumb shit. Huh? You ever thought about that? You can think stop trying to be smart. Like maybe I should give an example. And I can't be specific at all with this, but let me give an example from my life. Well, in my business, I have a partner in my business. He's a fucking genius. Certified genius. Self-taught chemist and works in labs with people with masters and shit like that. So, in the process of trying to do better, trying to improve upon what we're already doing to get better results, he fucked up the results. Believing in shit. Believing in intelligence, like reading papers, studies, and all this shit. Like, oh, we can do this or do that. And then trying to improve and believing people and diving straight into shit and not doing a small control study, it fucked up a lot of shit. You feel me? But this seems like it would be a good thing because your intelligence led him down this road. Like, these are some things that you can do to improve upon the process. Boom, I did them. Nigga, we don't need to rebuild the wheel. We don't need to reinvent fire. We got fire. It burns. Let this shit burn. Stop trying to make better fire. You feel me? And that's what you do. And that's the thing. Stop trying to make better bitches. Stop it. You feel me? So yeah, you can think yourself into some dumb shit. You can be overly intelligent. And since you feel like you're a loser in every other aspect of your life, you hold tight onto this thing that you think is intelligence and these hypotheses and these things that you came up with when they're complete nonsense. And I'm not here to save you. I'm here to tell you that you're dumber than you thought you were. You're like, oh, I can't get any bitches. It's so hard out here. Blah blah blah. That's what you're going through. And you thought I was going to come here and tell you, no, guys, it's going to be okay. No. I'm telling you that the one thing that you thought you had, you're like, oh, I can't get bitches, I'm ugly, all that shit. Yes, that's all true. You can't get bitches, you're ugly, you ain't shit. You ain't favored by God like me. You feel me? But you were at least thinking, at least I'm smart. At least I'm high IQ. I'm sorry to tell you and add on to this. You are an idiot, a mundane thinker, a small thinker. You feel me? You're an idiot, a mundane thinker. But let's get into it a little bit. See, I got a couple people passing through, so let's get into it, and you'll see what I'm saying. I'm not gonna point out any of these people individually. These are just some black pill niggas, you know. Let's go.
Have to feel responsible to do anything for a woman, anyways, and which is why they don't. And then you have the sub 5 guys who they're invisible to women anyway, so they're not gonna really stop to really come to the aid of a woman. So
I didn't want to pause this so early, but we have a new guy in the chat. I haven't seen this person. Icon of Sin. Oh, that's so dark. You're so dark. Hey, whoa, watch out, Dark Lord. But Icon of Sin. If you are ugly, you can't get hoes. Now, this is a fucking lie if I've ever seen one before. And you would think this is true. Because you're like, hey, 1 + 1 = 2. I'm ugly. I'm unattractive. Therefore, I'm not attracting. And this is why I don't got hoes. No, you don't got hoes because you're stupid. You're stupid and you're lame. And you might have been born like that. Like, I'm not the nigga that'd be like, oh, here, guy, here's what you need to do to improve yourself and shit like that. No, I can't tell you how to prove that. Maybe you were born cursed. You're dealing with generational curses. And you just ain't shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. And we need people we need people to be you. We need people to be you so I can be me. Highly favored and just winning and getting it every day. You feel me? And me winning and getting it every day is not dictated upon a bitch. You feel me? Because unlike you smarties, you high IQ guys, unlike you guys, I don't need that much of high IQ to get a bitch. Guess what? If I was in the worst position possible, you guys like to bring up the 3-foot-tall Indian janitor who happens to have a tail or some shit like that. You guys like to bring up this mythical guy, the 3-foot-tall Indian balding janitor that can't get a bitch. Guess what? If I was in that guy's shoes, I'd be complaining even less because I'd fully accept that I pay for a bitch and then I'd be done with it. But you motherfuckers want love. You're corny. You've been watching TV and movies. Let's go.
I don't know. I don't know. But I will say this. I will say this. We're talking about the value that men and women bring to the table. I don't even hear women saying what it is they bring to the table. I think if you ask the average woman, I would say under 50, if you ask her what, or maybe under 40, if you ask her what value she brings to the table, she's not really giving a clear. She either doesn't know, or she defines it in very abstract terms.
Yeah, because you don't ask bitches shit. You tell bitches shit. But you're asking like that's the corniest shit. The black man for all these different things like, oh, so what do you bring to the table? What is the value that you bring and all this shit? And then they try to make up some shit for the bitch. Oh, you need to be his piece. You need to do this. How can a bitch be? I don't even understand that shit. What do you mean, be my piece? What do you mean, be my? I really don't understand. If someone in the chat can let me know what that means, like a bitch is supposed to be your piece. I don't know what that means. Well, let's go.
Because she doesn't need to know. It works. Everything flows for her. Everything comes automatically. So why she never needs to think about what she brings to the table.
Right, exactly. And so it's
here's another thing why I think these spaces are kind of like funny style and rainbowish and shit. Because niggas envy the hoe. You feel me? Like niggas envy the hoe. Like I don't really understand it. There's no woman on earth I would switch places with. No amount of money, no nothing. Here, we're going to give you, fuck it, let's make it an astronomical number. We're going to give you the same money that Donald Rumsfeld stole from the Pentagon the day before that event happened in September. You feel me? We're going to give you that much money. All you gotta do is like become a bitch. You're not gonna become a trans or anything like that. We have a new thing where we're gonna kill you. We're gonna highlight God. He's gonna bring you back in a bitch body, but you're gonna be rich, nigga. I would never for nothing want to be a fucking woman ever. That bitches live in mental turmoil, and these idiots. And I believe them when they say they don't know hoes. I believe them because these niggas act like the bitches has it so easy. Oh, she's floating too low. I don't give a fuck what a bitch has. The bitches are in mental turmoil. I would never want to deal with that. Never.
It's the whole thing's just crazy.
I am the table. Well, I mean, see.
Oh, and also bear with me. I know these niggas are corny and all that shit, but they're about to get into the run of this shit. I'm not trying to beef with anybody or have anybody talk crazy to me online because I don't have the energy for it. But this guy BPJ. Let's just go.
See, my thing is kind of this, right? It's like more times than not, if you're a man, you're lucky to get a woman who who brings a neutral value to your life, meaning you see her, she's relatively low maintenance, you guys have sex. Because you know what the funny thing is too, is like even when it comes to sex, right? So let's just say, watch this shit. Let's just say that sex is what she brings to the table, right? Let's say that's just what that is, right? Because let's, if we're being honest, that is what it is that they're talking about. I bring myself to the table, that just means her pussy. And Tia Johnson broke this shit down very eloquently, and you guys
Oh my God, Dr. Tia-san Johnson.
should look him up. He's really good content creator. He basically talked about, you know how women say goofy shit like my emotional labor that they do in relations.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the quote unquote, let's use our terminology, emotional labor that men have to do, when it comes to sex,
Do you even listen to this guy's how he's just said that? Do you realize how listening to bitches will make you a bitch? Like this guy's like, oh, you know, women say the emotional labor. You see, as soon as somebody says that nonsense to you and you try to process it in your mind and make sense of it and turn that into logic, you are destroying your psyche. You're destroying your psyche. And that's why these motherfuckers are so broken up, because they just accept that shit and they're like, oh, the bitch said this, so let me try to quantify and analysis and do an analysis of what the bitch just said. Like, no, bro, you're going to kill yourself doing that. You feel me? You feel me? But niggas don't value their life. But let's hear him say that one more time. Just listen to the inflection in the voice.
right? Let's say that's just what that is, right? Because let's, if we're being honest, that is what it is that they're talking about. I bring myself to that just means her pussy. And Tia Johnson broke this shit down very eloquently, and you guys should look him up. He's really good content creator. He basically talked about, you know how women say goofy shit like my emotional labor that they do in relations.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the quote unquote, let's use their terminology, emotional labor that men have to do, when it comes to sex, men have a much higher burden of performance when it comes to just the sexual component.
No, you don't. You put that burden as a performance upon yourself by listening to what a hoe says. Because if you got the bitch's mind, all that's mad. Like, let me not even get into that, because I'm gonna sound like I'm trying to tell some game, or I'm not even trying to get into that. I'm just gonna say that shit don't matter in the least bit. Your burden of performance, like that's like, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, even as a young man, your early days fucking bitches, you're worried about like, oh, if you're in your head too much, you can't even keep your shit up like that, and your performance and all this fucking shit, and that fucks you up. Being bitch minded, listening to hoes makes you anxiety ridden and bitch minded. So you're gonna think dumb shit like that. You can't even fuck correctly when it's not something that you have to practice. As long as you're chill in your normal state outside of bitch mindedness, just fuck the bitch and keep it moving, dog. Let's go.
It's not like the man has to work his ass off, you know, make sure he's in good shape, get his game and his mouthpiece and confidence together. And it's not like the woman, her part is, okay, just to satisfy my man. He has to do all of that just so he can have the opportunity to please this woman in bed. Because sex nowadays is not about the man getting pleased 9 times out of 10. It's about the man trying to please the woman. It's about the man trying to put it down for the woman. It's about the man trying to last as long as he can, trying to outfuck the last chatter Tyrone who fucked her. No, I'm serious. Giving her.
And he's saying facts, but it's stupid still. The only reason that it's a fact in this modern age is because motherfuckers are bitch minded. That's the only reason that is a fact right now. So yes, I will agree with him, but that's not how it's supposed to be. You feel me? You're trying to and this shit's weird. Like, these motherfuckers are always talking about how Chad is fucking and who this guy is fucking. Like, nigga, get that shit out of your mind. I'm fucking a bitch. I'm not thinking about the last nigga who fucked her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm smashing a bitch. I'm not thinking about the last guy who was fucking her. Like, what is wrong with you niggas? You're trying to outfuck the last Chad up. Nigga, you're a retarded. And I hope they come. I might put them in the title after this, and hope they come across this and watch it. And maybe, I know they're not gonna accept it, but maybe you will see that how dumb you are, just listening to bitches, and how dumb and this shit just destroyed you, bro. Like so you're trying to smash a bitch, quote unquote, good. You're trying to smash a bitch, quote unquote, good, but for the bitch. So you don't feel so you don't enjoy when you put work in. All right.
Her the most orgasms she's ever had, making her squirt, fucking slapping her, spitting. So now because she's got fucked by 15 other guys and the last 5 guys fucking choked her, you got to choke her and spit on her and damn near punch her and fucking flip her and toss her like a goddamn pancake. It's sex.
Stop trying to reach the host level. Stop trying to reach the host level. No. Because look at you. You're like, well, the last guy did this, and now I got to do this. Now I got to slap her, and I got to do this. And so how far are you going to keep going it? Because going with it. Because she's doing certain things before. Now you're going to have to keep doing certain things. So how far are you going to take it? Is it going to get into funny style area? Is it going to get into the funny style? Let me tell you niggas something. I know you niggas are desperate, and if you heard, let me give you an example of something. There was a bitch I used to date for a while. You know? The bitch I used to date for a while. We stopped talking. She got another man. You know, bitches get another guy. She did what she did. So, like a year later, she comes back. Oh, you were right, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that because it's not about that. So she wants to chill or whatever. We smash real quick, and then after, like the next day or something, we're talking or some shit like that. And she's telling me, oh, you were right. And you just know everything. Like, blah, blah. I'm like, what? I don't even remember what I'd be saying, you know? She's like, and she slowly let out. I don't even get into detail because it's disgusting. She slowly let out that the dude that she started messing with after me told her that he wanted to get pegged by the bitch and got her into that shit. And she's like kind of trying to laugh it off, but feeling like embarrassed telling me the story. And I'm like, yo, I am really God's favorite because I'm glad I get to hear this shit. It's disgusting, but I'm glad I get to hear this shit. And she's like, yeah, you know, it's so weird. I'm there like, and I'm in the Hustler store and I'm in the Hustler store and I'm trying to pick out one. Like, how do you pick out one for like? Does he want one that looks? I'm like, ugh, funny style, satanic. Stop it, Satan. Get behind me, Satan. You feel me? So long story short, she telling me she's doing this to this guy. Let me tell you what this guy is. This guy is a white so-called blood member. Yo, it's insane. And it makes me really think, like, men are really out here doing this shit. So she told me this shit thinking, like, oh, I'm like, I guess in her mind, like, I'm telling him he was right. I'm submitting to him and all that shit. Like, but I'm disgusted by the bitch. I'm disgusted. Because at first, it took a second to sink in what she was telling me. Because I was like, what the hell? Then the next day, I was just thinking about it. And I was like, and in my mind, I was like, you were funny style. She thinks she's telling me about, because a bitch loves to tell you about her old man. Some shit like just some embarrassing shit that she shouldn't have been sharing with me. But a bitch loves to tell you about her whole old man to throw him under the bus. But she didn't realize she was throwing herself under the bus. Bitch, you're funny style to me now. You pegged a person. You did funny style. It's over for you. Let's go.
Sex is more so about her pleasure than it is for the man. Mm-hmm. If we're just even when you're performing oral, or excuse me, when she's performing oral on you, it's you still have to do it in this, like you have to perform for her is my point. I'm not trying to
think about how pathetic what he said is. Even when he's getting domed, he still feels like he has to perform and impress the bitch. The bitch is on her knees or below you in some way with her mouth on your phallus. And you are such a bitch-minded person that you're still thinking in anxiety. This is what listening to bitches will do to you. You are so ridden with anxiety that you're supposed to be laying back enjoying the service, the submission, which is being clearly displayed to you. But your intelligence you've thought yourself into idiocy. So now you can't even enjoy getting domed. Like, this is idiocy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I think I would say, because you talk about a woman saying
so I'm sorry, he said in 2024 you need to have a boomerang shaped dick to please these chicks. Wow.
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 No, but I would say
See, that's why you guys are weird. Thinking about what kind of joint you have to please it. Like, thinking about it's just odd, man. It's just odd. Like I said, Earth is over. It's over for niggas, but not over for me. I'm God's favorite. Let's go.
I would say,
That's funny.
you said a woman bringing her ability to reproduce. I mean, and for a lot of women, that's not even true because many women don't even want to do that. They don't even want to bear any children. So for many women, the one thing they could bring to the relationship, which is their womb, they don't even offer that. I was listening to some Kevin Samuels yesterday, and he made a good point. And he said, many women, as a man, when you come to a relationship, you know what's expected of you and you know what you need to be doing. But for many women, they don't even know what it is they're even supposed to be doing. They
know, you idiots. Stop listening to bitches. Well, I don't know. But they know. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. How about you accept they don't care?
even understand what value they're supposed to be providing to a marriage and what their obligations or what their responsibilities are.
There really isn't any like that, but that's the thing. Like there really isn't none. It's just so all it is, seemingly all it's this, right? All she gives you, quote unquote, is just sexual exclusivity. Mm-hmm. That's kind of sort of it. And the fucked up thing is that she's giving you that sexual,
the illusion of sexual
exclusivity that you're
exclusivity
cherishing because it's hard because if you're able to get sexual exclusivity from one woman, that takes away the burden of trying to go out there in the open market and try to get sex from any woman.
Is this how you know these niggas don't know bitches? Like, he's like, having a one bitch who gave you pussy and not giving it to anybody else, it takes away a burden from you. You're always gonna want more bitches. It's never gonna stop. I've been traveling. I've been around old ass men, and we get cool. I ask them the question: does it ever slow down? Do you ever stop wanting the 22-year-old bitch? Does it ever happen? No. Let go of that dream.
So most men are going to take the deal of just the sexual exclusivity, and I'll raise you my 50 hours a week, my time, my attention, my efforts, the flowers, the gifts, like driving you fucking everywhere, the groceries, me having to cook the majority of the time because you're going to buy fucking Jack in the Box. Okay, cool. Just give me the sexual exclusivity because.
Yo, this is some real modern man shit. This nigga just broke down how the bitches. Excuse me, I'm smoking this weed. This nigga just broke down how the bitch is not gonna do anything, be a burden to you, and he's like, fuck it, are you at least gonna give me pussy sometimes?
Because for fuck's sakes, man, is hard, it's tough out there to date.
It's amazing to me because like I went to a wedding this past week or this weekend rather, and Saturday actually, and
look at you.
Yeah, it was like these
Look at you.
Yeah, it was weird because like it was a guy. It's a guy I've known for a long time. Really, we've been friends for a long time. So I figured I'd show up. I figured I'll give him a show up, right? So I show up and it's like he's fat, she's fat, and it's like you're just looking around like I don't know, like I've heard stories about people going to weddings and being like, this is who's getting married, and like the bride's always like some like very, very mid, if not below average chick.
This is this guy's show. You feel me? And shout out to him and your little group and your following that you put together. But you're boring, my guy. You're very boring. Let's see if they say any more dumb shit. Man, this shit want to play games right now, man. Hold up, bear with me.
This with white women, with conservative white or conservative minded women, right? I'm pretty sure I did say something like this on the stream, but as a black, a white, you're more likely for a conservative white woman. They're always going to white, always. if you're a conservative minded white woman who because my big thing in mystery, we've talked about this a little bit. My big thing that it's like, dang, it's like one of the major deal breakers with women, even though it probably shouldn't be, is whether they're pro-choice or pro-life. Because I just think that if you're a woman who's pro-choice, I just think that's just a telltale sign that you're not a quad, that I shouldn't marry you, or I shouldn't.
Yeah, that's basically like every bitch. But you're just listening to what comes out of the bitch's mouth and believing, or like, oh, I'm either pro-choice or pro-life. Like there's not, and I need more nuance to that. You got enough bread or something? That bitch is pro-life.
And really take you seriously as a long-term option. And I will be goddamned if you can find yourself a pro-life woman who doesn't just want white guys exclusively.
Right.
But who cares? Like, who cares if that bitch wants white? Why are you thinking about a bitch that wants white guys? I really don't understand. I'm not even here trying to chop you up, because I could be chopping you niggas up. I'm really trying to understand, why the fuck are you concerned with what a conservative white woman wants? Like, what's wrong with you? And the whole, like, deal breaker, pro-choice, pro-life, whatever, nigga. If you don't want to put a baby in the bitch, you should not be dating her. Here's the thing. I got one homie who's married. He told me that he doesn't want to have kids. Like, I was like, because we started getting closer and shit. He lives in the building. And I'm like, yo, so you're gonna have some kids with your bitch or whatever? Like, what are you doing? Like, you playing fucking games? Like, what's the point of being married and living with a bitch and all this shit? Like, you're not gonna have kids or a family? Like, you just like being annoyed? You know what I'm saying? You like hanging out with this person? Maybe he does, because I subscribe to infinite possibility. So maybe he does, but he's the only person who doesn't seem stressed by his bitch to me. But the more we speak, he lets me know, like, yeah, and I was like, I don't get it. I got another homie who's not married, but he's got a bitch, and he be complaining about the bitch. He wants to get rid of the bitch. He's been saying this before. It's not like I'm soliciting, asking, oh, go get rid of your bitch. I do now. Anytime I'm around, I'm like, as soon as you told me you want to get rid of the bitch, and now you haven't done it, every time I see him, I tell him to get rid of the bitch. But just not too long ago, last time I went to Columbia, niggas like, I'm like, yo, slide. He's like, nah, man. But I'm like, talking about, he said some shit about his girl too, or something like that. I was like, whatever. After that, I didn't want to hear shit else. You feel me? Like, last minute, he got some paper. Yo, last minute, he's like, yo, where you going? What time is your flight? Blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, why you asking? Like, he's like, yo, no, my bitch pissed me off. I'm going to go. That shit is sad. That your shit is dictated by the bitch. I fuck with him. Like, he bought the ticket last minute, slid out to Columbia. You feel me? It's my homie chilling. But I'm like, I'm just using it as an example of how sad it is that your movements and your thoughts are dictated by the bitch. I ask you, like, yo, let's slide out there. And you're like, nah, you know what I'm saying? You're like, nah, I can't go back to Columbia without, next time I gotta go, I gotta take my bitch. He said some weird shit like that. I'm like, all right. But then you have a fight with the bitch, and you're like, oh, come on, we're out, let's go. I'm like, yo, come on, man. Does that show that you're controlled by the bitch? Here's the thing. If you are swung in either direction too far, if the pendulum swings in either direction too far, like, you either obviously controlled by the bitch, do whatever the bitch says, or you swung totally in the other direction where your anger or your vibe is dictated by the bitch. Like, you might be on the other end of the spectrum, but you're still controlled by the bitch, because the way you're moving and thinking is to either avoid or spite or some shit like that. How about you just be yourself, man? How about you just be yourself? Let's go.
See, I think the white woman, she's got enough sense to know that if I'm gonna get married one day, I can't have children out of wedlock. I can't afford to bring children to the relationship. So she's gonna make sure she comes to her marriage with a clean.
There's a shitload of white baby mamas and stepdads. A lot. A whole lot.
Slate. Whereas with a black woman, I mean, they're just having babies by these Tyrones and these Pookies all willy nilly, and they're just bringing kids to the table like it's nothing.
Can
That-
I?
And what you gonna do about it, nigga? Shut up.
Oh
Mhm.
boy. I just want to address Chip. He says, here we go with the race cope, always against white people. Who's against white people?
What?
Wait, I'm confused. Who's against white people? I don't know. I just want to. I don't.
Oh, this is definitely not this is not an anti-white rant at all.
No, it really.
Yeah,
it really
if anything, if like a could even
Yeah,
be considered like pro-white.
Yeah, this is what
you're
Griffin-
literally saying that like women consider the white men to be so valuable that like they'll literally do whatever it takes to get one. Like
we're uplifting white women. This is a white.
I mean, we're
woman-
just stating what the dip. Here's what we're doing. We're just kind of stating what the diff. Because the reason why I asked Mystery if the guy was black or white is because Mystery is black and he was talking about a fat couple, right? And I was like, okay, well, because again, black women are, I would even argue, black women are slightly more looks hypergamous or sexually hypergamous in regards to their what their look standards are than any other group of women. And I'll give you a prime example. You don't hear about white women talk about
So in one breath, you're gonna say like black women are like the biggest hoes and shit. There. So in one breath, because you didn't say that exactly. You just said they the Pookie, Ray Ray, all their smash, all these, whatever. But I hear this thing throughout these spaces that black women are the biggest hoes. Now you're saying they are the most selective biggest hoes. Like this shit makes no sense.
About his beard has to connect. You don't hear about white women talking about, oh, you know, his hairline isn't crispy. Black women, when it comes to how a man looks, black women are significantly more strict on what they view as attractive physically than other groups of women in regards to their own men.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, like, as a black man, you can't really be a black man who doesn't have any facial hair and
This is the ultimate bitch minded. Excuse me. The ultimate bitch minded victim mentality. The bitches control the mind so much. This is the dangers of listening to women. You feel me? The bitch has controlled this guy's mind so much that he thinks he can't even have his facial hair or whatever the way he likes it. This is horrible.
get yourself a decent looking or good looking black woman. But you can be a white guy with no facial hair and get yourself a decent looking or pretty white woman. And those are just the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just the facts. Yo, that's how, when niggas think they're smart, dog. Yo, it's the worst. I'm telling you, you can be so intelligent, you can think yourself into idiocy.
I was yeah, I agree. I was listening to some Kevin Samuels recently, and this is why this is why I don't completely reject the red pill. I mean, I think there's good things you can learn. I'm not red pill, but I think there's a lot you can learn. And Kevin Samuels was talking about, he was saying that based on, because he when he was alive, he was a dating consultant. Like he's, not just like, I mean, like he would get on the phone with people and consult them how to improve their dating lives for men and women. And he said, based on his experience talking to thousands of people, he said, it seems to him that men are more eager and more willing to get married than women. So that, I mean,
Wait,
I think,
hold on. Can you repeat that point?
he said that he got the impression after talking to thousands, being a dating consultant and talking to thousands of people, he said that he can say without a doubt that nowadays men have more interest in marrying than women.
So the men that he's talking to, that's reaching out to him because he has a specific message of pro-marriage, that means most. And let's not say it's right or wrong. Let's not say it's right or wrong. How about we just ask why, if that's what you're seeing? Why? They've been told that's what they're supposed to do. And that's it. Why would motherfuckers who're supposed to be the logical ones? You know, you're a man, you're supposed to be logical and shit. Why would you? I'm not even talking about cohabitation and fucking having a bitch and being committed and all that shit. Monogamous, that's fine. I'm saying, why would you sign a bad contract? If you're so high IQ and all this, why would you sign a bad contract?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Well, because men. I mean, like the thing about it is, just like obviously men don't, because women will say this shit like, oh, like you guys are not serious in your 20s and all this other shit, but like most men don't have the capacity to even like this whole notion of like a man out there running through women. Like this whole American Pie fantasy is like that doesn't even that possibility doesn't even exist to a man. Like even something as simple as like a 3.
Look at that limiting thought. The possibility doesn't even exist to a man. No, to you. To you. To you.
Like a threesome to a woman is just a couple of phone calls and like a couple of drinks of tequila. But to an average man, a threesome is like a fucking fantasy. Like if an average man got a phone call from the last girl that he fucked, and she said, you know, because let's be honest, for the average guy, the last girl that he fucked, you know, that was about 3 to 4 months ago. If he got a phone call or a text talking about, hey, I was thinking about you, me and my homegirl want to come over and we both want to fuck you, or let's say something of that nature, it's like he wouldn't like, bro, like that would fucking blow his mind.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing, and this is just the truth. So I'm not gonna give any prerequisite. I've gotten that call. I've gotten that call, and it did blow my mind a bit. It did blow my mind a bit. I think I told that story before, but I'll tell it again at another time.
Oh yeah.
He couldn't even. He would think that. Matter of fact, if you put most men in a situation where they're about to have a threesome, he would think that he was about to get robbed or fucking killed.
Yeah, that's what I would.
These niggas, dog.
I would think I'm about to get robbed.
So if you're vibing with two bitches and you see this shit going in an interesting way, or the situation fell in your lap somehow, because I feel like that's how it really happens. Bitches aren't planning to do that shit. You feel me? Bitches are just chaotic. So if you happen to land within the space of that chaotic time, there's two chaotic bitches, and you end up having a fucking threesome, your mind is so blown that you're like, damn. That's like the dangers of listening to women, man. This motherfuckers are listening to women so much that their brain is so anxiety filled that if they were gonna have a threesome, they be thinking they're gonna get robbed or poisoned or some shit. Nigga, you ain't that important and you don't got bread like that. Let's go.
Yeah, it's so true, man. Hey, mystery. You know
he would think he's about to get set up. Like if a woman was like, hey, come to my place, me and my homegirl, and the girl looked just as good. We both want to come and share you. You might go, but there's a chance that you might chicken out because you will have a strong belief that some Mexican gangsters are going to come rob you and chop your fucking head off.
Yo, I don't even think I listened this far. This is beautiful right now. It's displaying beautifully what I put in the title, the dangers of listening to women and how it'll put you into a false reality of nonsense. And then you'll be up here making hypothetical, nonsensical situations to say why you can't have shit or shit won't happen for you. The dangers. Making up fucking scenarios of all types of shit because your brain has been infiltrated. Your brain has been infiltrated. You're like, maybe you might go, or I might chicken out because there might be Mexican gang members there who are gonna kill me. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? For one, this is a stupid hypothetical situation. For one, bitches aren't gonna call you who don't know you, who you never met, none of that shit. They're not gonna just call you. You feel me? So if they're calling you and they're saying that, I'm taking your hypothetical situation and fixing it. So if they're calling you and they're saying that, So you tell me some people you know where they live and all that shit, they're telling you to come through to rob you and get you killed by Mexican gang members. Are you fucking retarded? Oh, we got somebody in the backstage. Hold up. All right. So we usually don't have random people come through here. I never seen his name before, so how can I change this? Can I do this so you can't be seen at the stream? Wait, can I do this? Yo. Bran Antonio?
Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah, so Bama told me to hit you up, so yeah, like I'm a fan and everything.
No, that's what's up. We ain't got no fans. We're supporters over here. We're all disagreeable, dog.
My man.
Yeah, so
No,
what's
you the reason why I wanted to come through was, with what you were just talking about before, just trying to figure out why dudes just have no, it's like they're completely against having like leverage in their associations with women. It's like they be trying to like set themselves up to be victims and just stay there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I don't know how long you've been here, but when the dude was talking about like what he would accept not having just to have access to the bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, all right, she's not gonna cook, she's not gonna clean, she's not gonna listen to me, but at least she'll bring in he's like the best you could hope for is the bitch bringing a neutral value to your life, like a neutral value, meaning you're hoping that you're like, she's definitely not gonna add shit, but I'm just praying that she doesn't take away from me. Like, what kind of fucking existence is that to live?
Man, and dudes be trying, they'll accept that, and man, I don't know. I just don't understand how, it's beyond a red pill thing. It's beyond a MGTOW thing. It's just like, in terms of looking at yourself and seeing a man in the mirror, right? What I could never imagine a lifestyle, right, where to be with somebody just so I wasn't with myself, I gave up like all of my integrity and could no longer see a man looking back at me in the mirror. Like, I don't understand how men can just accept that for their existence.
I really can't understand it at all. Like, try to wrap my head around it a little bit, but it's just like, I don't know, maybe some people are meant to be in that position. You feel me? Like, I'm open to that possibility. Maybe you're supposed to be over there so I can be over here. But you being over there is bad for society in general. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's bad for, if you want a family, it's bad for family structure, it's bad for community, it's bad for all of that shit. So it's not good for anything. So that's why I'll try to put myself in somebody's shoes and and be empathetic and wrap myself around what they're thinking, but I really can't see it in any way. It's bad for everything.
I mean, I don't have any empathy anymore. Not for dudes, not for, broads. Because, dudes get theirs immediately and then women get theirs later in terms of, how the system's set up. But, with my brothers, I don't really have any empathy because, you tell them, like, go out, like, leave this country, right? And just look around. Look around, look around. And, I mean, I've only been to 5 places.
And you're like in the top 1%. Most people haven't been anywhere, yeah?
Okay, cool. But like I went to the black man starter outside the U.S. country, which is DR, and so like I said, it's a grift out there. It's not as sweet as people portray it in terms of like access, but still just the person. Okay, so just the difference in the way that stuff is approached was enough to just completely open my eyes, and it's like I'll be real brief with this one point. It's like, you look at it, right? And you, okay, so what does a man do, right, to get into a relationship? What he does is you look at a man's his uh what do you call it? His it's I don't know why the term escapes me right now. A biological imperative, right? So, man's biological imperative is three things: his ego, getting cheeks, and his legacy. And a woman is protection and provision, and getting phallus, right? They care way more deeply about like sex than they'll ever admit, right? But that's the biological imperative. So you sit down, you say, hey, you approach one, and this is in the US, right? You approach one and you say, hey, I would like to get to know you better. So we sit down and I answer all the questions about your to satisfy your biological imperative, but I can't ask none of mine, you know? So you can't ask me. It's rude of you to ask me, hey, so how much exactly do you make? But you can say, so what do you do? You know? And then so like there are actuary charts and stuff like that, saying you can get, if I tell you what I do and or where I work, right, you can get to within $5,000 a year of what I make, as a reasonable estimate, right? But I can't ask you, hey, so when you gonna put out a baby, and when you gonna put out for some cheeks, I can't say that. So we got to play this song and dance for months, what, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, right? And then, so what I do is, oh, I'm sorry. And then you talk about like what I can do for you, right? But I can't ask what you can do for me. So then what I do is I save up money, right, for like 12 years of my salary, and then I get down on a knee and beg you for the right and the honor to be able to take care of you for the rest of my life. Absolutely not, you know. And whereas there are some countries, and I won't name them or be specific, right? But you could literally say, and I'm not saying that this is ethical. I would definitely not do this, right? But I'm saying you could take two women and you could say, hey, look, um, whoever wins this fist fight is the one that I share my resources with. And they'll fight each other to the death, you know? And just understanding the fact that the broader sense, right? Like, going back, not focusing on the like ethics, right? But like in the concept of what I was just talking about, but just looking back at it, like women here believe men owe them, right? Whereas women abroad, right, in non-westernized countries, believe that there's a value not only to your money, but to your actual presence being in the household, you know? And, so the reason why I don't have any mercy on my brothers is, like there's way too much information out freely accessible for you to just be in the cocoon of, oh well, man, I'm just gonna gut it out here, So that's
Yeah,
just my take.
I feel you, but I want to add to that, like, I say like empathy is like understanding. It's not like sympathy is like a different thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But how do I say? How do I say? As far as the situation, because it kind of threw me off. Like, let me just jump to this because this is what my mind is at.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking at your Thanos icon, and I can see that you were probably somewhere in a economically distressed country, standing there looking just like that, and you had two bitches with machetes drawing lines in the sand. Fucking, you you living different out here, bro. Yeah, was like, damn. I thought I really did shit out here in the world. Like I haven't done anything yet.
No, I mean, it's like I said, I'm very respectful of your channel, but it's when you open up your perspective, it's a whole wide world out here. It's a brave new world, and just to say, okay, so like I'll talk about something regular, right? So uh, I went on Tinder, right, and went on um, a couple dates, not to partake in mangoes or whatever whatever it's called wherever it is that you go to, but to actually what I wanted to do was I wanted to go on a date with no expectations, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so I went on a date at a mall, right? Like a mall food court, right? And so I got my food, I got her food, we sat down, right? I had an orange soda, right? She took my straw, took the paper off the straw, and put the straw in the drink. I'm like, oh, I'm not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, and
You know?
here's a sad part. Like we're in a place that a gesture that small is like, whoa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, so I went on a date. I went on a date with another girl, right? I'm in a foreign country, and I'm in a cab, right? So I come up to her house. She comes out. She brought sugar cookies. She gave me something, and so as no less than 100 brothers, right? Have you ever gone on a date and a woman gave you some, like other than cheeks, right? Like brought you something or gave you something for the first time you met? No, the answer was no. And it's like, man, like I don't understand how a man, right, could have the opportunity because it's like, it's there's ways to do things, right? There are, you have to take them off season, right? But like there are one way cruises, right? There are, you can go. There are places you can go that can fit whatever your travel budget is, right? And then there are places that you can go that if you travel and it's expensive to get there, right? It's really inexpensive when you get there. So like you can offset it with like very inexpensive Airbnb lodging and like I mean just like Thailand being an example, right? I mean you can literally eat out for $6 a day. You know what I'm saying? All three of your meals. And so like it's you have the opportunity, right? And so now one thing that I will say, right, because one thing I will say is that they're with the US, they're processing 500,000 new passport applications a week, right? And I think that the passport bro movement is burgeoning. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's a large numbers there. And I also understand that the news isn't going to focus on that. They're not going to say, "Oh, the passport bros, all of them trying to get out of here." But the thing I love about the passport bro like movement, and when I'm talking about that, I don't mean the oh well you go out and just get some raggedy cheeks or whatever. I'm talking about brothers that are going out and like I know a couple brothers that went to DR and bought the like leased the area behind a hotel and then put a chicken and waffle spot there, like stuff like that. That's passport bros to me, and the thing is that the world is so big that we can all go out and like find our own individual success, and it's unstoppable. It's unstoppable. Women can't passport, bro. They can't passport, sis.
Not at all. But before you go too far,
I'm sorry, brother.
let me add on to that. No, it's all good. It's good to have you on the show. But let me add on to that. I'm gonna hit two of your points. Actually, I'll hit 3 of your points. For one, people need to understand like I think black men more than a lot of others like live in like a state of I can't and lack, that they don't even really believe things can happen. You know, so just keep it simple. Like the square women overseas exist. You know what I'm saying? And they're cool. I'm not saying they're not still women, but they, like, an example, like a girl bring me something on her first date. Maybe that's happened maybe once in the States. Overseas, it's happened multiple times. So it's just the fact that they know in that culture that their pussy isn't shit over there. You feel me? Sex is just sex. They have to do something to be better than their pussy. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'll keep it moving to hit all the points. And when you said to the like, I'm not a passport bro. You know what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying. I'm not going against what you're saying. And men moving around, I see there's a difference. Like when I'm in Colombia, you're only gonna see a certain type of guy, period. But right now I'm being specific on black men. You're only gonna see a certain type of guy right there in the main area. You know what I'm saying? Right there. That's a passport bro to me. Now, when I'm moving around how I move around the country and I'm in the different areas and I run into random black men, it's always a super interesting, advanced, like forward-thinking brother, you know, every time. It's like, you just meet the coolest people in these random places that you come across them. So those are like the real travelers trying to put their feet out there and do something different. A lot of times they're working remotely or something like that. When you're in the main area, you seem to run into these guys that go over there, they're on the block just like they're in the club in America, like they're trying to impress the hoes, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it's just weird. And here's the thing, in the state of lack in the mind of a black man, I see it over there too. And that's why I feel like and I'm gonna be straight up, that's why I feel like a lot of black guys go to DR. Because it's gonna sound fucked up, but even when it comes to pay for play, their confidence is so low, they don't even want to holler at a very attractive worker.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But 1 second, we got KB in the back. Welcome KB to the show. What's up?
What's good, OG? What's good? You proper, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
How you feel? I just hopped on. I did not listen to the previous build you had with the brother, but yeah, man, I just hopped on. I can't really contribute to what you're talking about right now, so I'll just listen and I'll contribute, you know, in and out, you know.
Yeah, you get the gist.
Yeah, but yeah, I get the gist from reading the title, that the dangers of listening to women, and I wanted to hop on and explain this recent sort of experience that I had with a friend of mine. Like, this is a dude, he got this beta simp mentality from his father, right? So I was hanging with him, I think it was 2 days ago, right? Dude, it's over. Earth is over, bro. I just realized that my friends ain't shit, bro. Like, I mean, like, dude, we are 25. I'm 25. He's 26, right? So this is a dude that I knew like from my childhood. You know, I grew up around this guy. Like, I knew him from like 5 years old, right? This dude, bro, he's been a beta. He's been getting gladiators for as long as I can remember, since high school, right? And he feels like he's kind of cursed because this is the only thing that he could sort of attract, you know, like even the chicks that are proper, I'd say, in terms of behavioral wise and how they conduct themselves, you know, around his friends, you know. He deems those chicks as, you know, sort of like worthless, or he doesn't really value them like that, you know.
Wait,
I was
hold on a second. I'm kind of lost. You're saying that your boy likes to deal with like brutish women?
No, gladiators, you know.
But
women that walk.
you know the gladiator term is kind of an open-ended term that we use. You know what I'm saying? So be more specific.
I mean, like women that just do the most, bro. Like, and whatever she does, bro. I mean, and even
Like
if I'm
a
hanging around even if I'm
oh
hanging around the guy, she's gonna want to dominate
oh
the
okay.
conversation and like our mental atmosphere in general. Like if I'm talking about something, let's say, let's just say we just pulling from the chaos realm and we just talking about something metaphysical. We're breaking down shit like men would, like we're just trying to break down reality and put it into its most simplest you know form, so we could like relate on that level, right? Yo, man, she will start doing the most, bro. Like, yo, man, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro. I was just hanging with this guy. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm just gonna have a nice time with my bro, smoke a blunt, have a conversation, whatever, man. Maybe plus minus 2 4 hours. Man, that 2 4 hours was intense, bro. She was just in the room, you know, telling him, yo, man, have you done this in the crib? Yo, man, have you done that? She was always interrupting. And here's the really fucked up part. This dude hasn't even been dating this chick for like 6 months. And we got this thing down here, right? We call it Scayfield Girl. So we got this theory that if you, my friend, like, okay, this is not like a friend thing, but like, if you've been dating a girl for 6 months, right? Um, one of your friends would know about that and would try to like expose your chick that she's a hoe, right? And hit on her and mac on her, whatever, So we got this thing like you can't like long-term relationships don't last, bro. Like it's over for relationships. 6 months is sort of like the ceiling, After 6 months, you have to pass her, bro. Otherwise, it's bullshit. It's gonna be fake, So
Well,
yeah, bro. You know what? Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah. Let me add it right here because I only hit a couple points that you made. For one, I know exactly what you're saying. That's like a bitch is gonna do that. You just allow her to do that, but you're allowing that in your energy or your boy is or whatever. Like it is what it is. So if he's letting that happen, then it's gonna happen. Like a bitch just loves to destroy fun for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like this is very obvious things. I don't really know where to. And the whole thing about like this relationship thing, like I'm in a point in my life that these things that other guys yearn for at these times right now, I don't even have it anymore. Like I don't want somebody telling me good morning. I don't want a good morning text. I don't want any regularity. I don't want any of that shit. And it's not that I'm like I don't even feel jaded. It's not like I'm against it. It's just like I don't care about that. And there's girls I talk to, the girls overseas I still talk to. You know what I'm saying? But we just chop it up sometimes. There's no pressure. That's as farthest as I'll go to having a regular girl I'm talking to. I have a fake girlfriend. That means we talk sometimes. That's it. Maybe I'll buy her a hamburger in Colombian pesos. You feel me? That's it. And every time I'm out there and I'm doing my thing and I want to go do some like hit some restaurants, do some tourist type shit where there's no girls in that area, she can go with me. Like that's as far as it's going. So this modern and that's crazy. You're in South Africa and you're telling me about fucking bitches just ruining men's time over there too. So I get it. Like Earth is over. But go ahead, Brian.
Man, South Africa is just as bad as the U.S. is.
I know KB might disagree. I don't know.
Now, I'm not talking about the country. I'm saying like in terms of like the women's mentality. Like man, I've talked to a few over here, and I'm like, ain't no way, boy. Mm-mm.
So
I mean,
you
yeah.
No, go ahead, KB.
No, go ahead. I'll respond. I'll respond after you.
Nah, mine is kind of off the subject, so go ahead and finish this up.
Oh yeah. I mean, the gladiator gene is everywhere, man. I mean, with the whole technology, it's just sort of like exponentially, expanded. But I would say, look, man, there's chicks that are coming from the more rural, tribal, you know, I'd say I wouldn't say pre-colonial, but they're still traditional in terms of how they view the male and woman relationship dynamic. There's still women like that. Because we have different ethnicities in terms of different cultures and stuff. Most chicks they see that identity in between, like in terms of, oh, I'm from this tribe, so I should be representing this tribe, and this tribe um conducts themselves. They prize that, like how they conduct themselves around men represents where they coming from. So yes, it's ruined for the chicks that think sort of like in this urbanized, westernized version of, oh, I'm a feminist. I could get a degree and be on the same level as a man. Power, all these freedom illusions.
Uh,
You
so
know,
so ba- so basically, every woman outside of a tribal cohesion mind state is over.
it's over. It's over. Basically,
All right,
basically.
we got that done. So let me ask. I wanted to ask Brandon. Yo, so like on the what we were talking about before about the traveling and men expanding and all this stuff, and you've been a couple places.
Yeah.
Um, are you stationed still in the states?
Yeah.
Have you made
So,
your way out of here?
yeah. So, like, I'm working on that now. I'm still in the States. I'm in the on the Eastern Seaboard, right? Um, it's so what I'm trying to do is for my field find comparable employment, or maybe not even comparable employment, but uh, remote work. Because I mean, even it's when we were talking about the like definition of like a passport, bro, and you were saying, I said what like I thought it was. You said what it meant to you and what the definition meant to you. Like, it's honestly, it's not even about that anymore. Because like there are things about that term and that concept, or of like a man, specifically a black man, uh, expanding his social and geographic horizons. But this country, like what you said about like things being doomed or what have you, you know, as far as women are concerned, like it's just the whole country, period. This place is it's just about done. It's on the last lap. You got, I mean, people are talking about okay, like for Biden, I mean Trump, they gave him, a whole bunch of different indictments and stuff. And now they're talking about trying to, I don't know whether it's retaliation or just, I mean, because he has been into some wild stuff, but like, impeaching Biden as well. And just thinking about this country with like next year, with like an impeachment going and like a trial, and like both of those dudes are like the front runners for their party. I'm like, man, I'm getting out of here. You know, Like,
Yeah.
it's done
Uh,
here. It's
I
done.
feel you on that. It might be done. It might be a probable thing, and it looks like shit's not gonna get better. But things like that can be seen in a couple ways. And after like looking at charts and studying technical analysis and stuff like that, it makes me look at things a little differently. That is just volatility. And in volatility, there's opportunity, you know? So things might get bad for a lot of people, but it's not going to get bad for me, you know? I feel sorry for
Facts.
those who will get bad for it, you know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
hope you can, and hopefully I can get so much money that I can help a couple of you motherfuckers. So you shouldn't go against me. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. So in this time, this is not a business stream, so I'm not going to give you specifics. But the shit's on the way down. But
Oh yeah.
you have 5 to 10 years before it's done. So there's good money to be made in this time. You can still formulate a plan.
Hmm.
There's time to do something. You know. So yeah, but it is what it is. And also, the news in general doesn't affect you personally. So all you should really care about is information and data. The news is propaganda. That is not data. The only time it can be used as data is on a technical analysis chart and when you're going to read people's emotions because they're going to react to the propaganda. Just because people react to the propaganda doesn't mean it's data. That means it's just a point of reference. I say all that to say this. All you need to be interested in is data. If you remove propaganda from your life and you only concentrate on data, then you can advance. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of these things, a lot of these things, like me, I don't watch the news at all, which can be kind of fucked up in South Florida sometimes because a hurricane sneaks up on my ass. I just go to the store and I realize there's no water. I'm like, yo, something's happening, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get too far into some like metaphysical type shit, but people just need to keep their mind open to endless possibility, and it all comes back to like even when we're talking about the situation with men and what they're dealing with, like in the house and shit like that. Like you just gonna do whatever just to have some sex or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's all comes back to that. They just have a limited mindset. You feel me? It's just there's a limiter on their brain, and when you have a limiter on your brain, there's a limiter on your reality. So if you don't want to take that limiter off, good for you. I need people to have kids to ring up my shit and clean things for me, you know? So it is what it is.
I mean, I'm with you, and you know, it's a perfect time to. So, I went from being like, you know, in the dating game, right, to being like, from a player to being a coach to not even being a fan of the sport anymore. You know, like the amount of financial research that I was able to do during the pandemic and over the last year since just completely changed my mentality as far as really seeing like relationships here. Well, most relationships, right? Most romantic relationships are okay. So when you have a child, right, your child is a liability, right? And when I say liability, I mean literally like looking at it on a financial ledger, right? You are not getting a financial input. You are only making a financial output, right? And so, but it's, I think it was Coach Greg Adams. He said they're lovable liabilities, right? And so, you know, we love them. Like we, you know, we share DNA with them, right? And like it's a cost that we enjoy because like we're a part of it, right? But for whatever reason, we're taught from this society that like relationships are like an asset, romantic relationships, and they're not. They're just as much of a liability in the financial sense and the like literal sense as having children, right? And so, you know, like I just watched, right? Like, okay, so I'll tell you during it was Memorial Day weekend of 2020, right? I went to the beach, right? Went to the grocery store. All the upper end cuts of meat had instant coupons on them because nobody was out there, right? I went to the actual beach itself. It was 10 people out there. I'm like, what? You know, like I rented a two bed, excuse me, not two bedroom, a one bedroom, like it was a hotel room that had like the full kitchen and everything. It was like a hotel room that was like an apartment, and it had a balcony, right? So I watched the sunset. You know what I'm saying? Like on my balcony thing that I got for $100 because for the whole weekend because nobody was out there. And so meanwhile, like one of my boys, he got a divorce, right? Because his wife, they had both gotten furloughed from their jobs, right? Temporarily. You know, it was for a few months, but you know, back then everybody was losing their job, you know? And it was about to be Hunger Games before they started the like that uh uh basically pre CBDC that they had, like where they were giving people, you know, money every week. So they broke up because she wanted to take. They had $20 left, and he wanted to get food, and she wanted to get like feminine products, and I'm like, bro, I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine. Like, your life is on the line, right? You're literal, like, you don't know how it's gonna go, right? And you're fighting a woman over like tampons versus like having food to eat, And I'm like, I don't understand how anybody could like want to be in a situation like that, you know?
I know it's kind of crazy to me that even thinking of having a girlfriend in that situation, I would have been like, you're set free. If I would have opened up the stable and it's let her run into the field or whatever, you feel me? Like, I can't feed you anymore. You feel me?
Man, like,
and then let me ask you, like, when you were describing the situation on the beach and the sunrise and sunset and all that, this is out the country, right?
no. This was in the U.S.
Oh, so that's why I was like kind of confused. I was like, oh, it sounds like some fly shit out of the country, but you
No,
also
no,
said
no,
that
no,
there was
no, no.
nobody out there on Memorial. I was like, it didn't make sense, but now I
Yeah,
understand what you're saying. Oh, that was during the thing. That was during the situation that was happening.
Yeah.
The mass mind control. Feel me?
Oh yeah.
But
And so no. This was an American beach, and but which made it even that more amazing because of how inexpensive it was.
Yeah, there's like, here's the thing, like during that this is like kind of off the path, but we'll get right back on path. During those during that time of the mind control and all that, the real deep testing, whatever they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Those were some of the nicest days I've seen in like forever, and even
Who
after
are you
that,
telling?
they were some of the nicest days. The sky was like the original blue that I remember as a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Mm-hmm.
It was just amazing. Like, I don't know what was going on. And when they had all types of propaganda out there, like, oh, if you go outside, you're gonna get a $500 ticket unless you have a reason and all this shit. Yo, I can't get into too much detail, but I was the last person who should have been doing this at the time. But I was out every day riding my bike, no cars in the street, me and my homies, and the only people you saw there were like, I saw like bike gangs of people just riding around on motorcycles and shit, and me and my homies on our like pedal bikes. And the streets were wide open, and the only people out there was us, them, and the police. And the police never said anything to any of us. It was all propaganda, you know what I'm saying? To make you stay in the house on the nicest days ever. And I remember I went across, like, I live in downtown Miami. So I rode across the causeway on my bike and went to South Beach. And I go across the water, and they have it blocked off on this, like, the social distancing bullshit. People can't go on the sand. I'm looking across at the water, and this is the most beautiful I've ever seen the water on the beach. There was something going on during that time, man. I don't want to get too deep, and you know what I'm saying, but there was something going on there in that time that people can't even conceptualize,
Yeah, no. Look, like I said, I get it. And and I think, I'll just say this, and that I think part of trying to keep everybody inside was so that they wouldn't see it,
Facts.
And so, like, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. I get the times we in and everything. But yeah, like, I just want you to know that I understand almost exactly what you're saying. And yeah, I'm with you.
I should already assume that because anybody who passes through here and like chills and listens to me speak for a while, if you come up and talk, you're pretty much like a open-minded or maybe a crazy person. You feel me? So one of the two. But even if you're crazy, you're productive. We're a different type of crazy. But oh yeah, I wanted to bring it back to like a different path. I know you don't want to be specific to where you're moving around to, but can you be regional? Are you going to Asia, South America?
I have not been to Asia yet. It's been the Caribbean, South America, and Central America.
Oh, that's dope.
And Puerto Rico also.
That's America, dog.
Yeah, that. But so the thing was, I was trying to go somewhere for my birthday, and my passport didn't renew in time, and I didn't want to spend it in the I didn't want to spend it in the continental U.S. And so I just went there. Now there's a lot of similarities, but even still, it was still like a breath of fresh air, you know, compared to just being around, you know, DC or Baltimore or Philly or you know what I'm saying?
Facts. The weight feels off your shoulders. Like people don't understand. Like, oh, you're just going over to get bitches or whatever. No, when you leave this place, you feel this cloud, this density get off of your fucking body. You feel me?
Hmm.
Then you can relax. You can actually think. You know what I'm saying? And no, and most people are so. Yeah, here's what I wanted to say before. It brought me back to this point. Most people are so slow that they don't even realize. I'm gonna hit this point first. They don't even realize that they can go to Puerto Rico or like the Virgin Islands and a couple other places without a passport. They don't even realize
Yeah,
this shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But and I wanted to add this to what you were saying before about like 500,000 passports being processed and all the movement and all this. Here's the thing. I want to add it to what I said before about these main guys staying in the main areas. Let's say it took niggas 100 years to get their passports. Fuck it, 200 years. It took niggas 200 years to get their passports. It took them another 100 to start using them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And now it's gonna take another 200 for them to get out the main areas.
Oh man.
So they're never gonna like. There's a whole different vibe in different places that I went. And I wasn't even thinking about it like this, but now that I'm thinking about it, I went and did some work in in Santa Marta, Minca, and the Sierra Nevada side, like the Caribbean coast of Colombia.
Yeah.
And when I was out there, I moved around a lot. The food's great out there. The vibe is dope. But I didn't see. I'm trying to really think hard now. It's not like I definitely saw black people. I'm talking about like not Colombian black people. They don't.
African American.
Yeah, African American, even travelers, even if like you're African or European or whatever. I didn't really see it like that. I saw travelers when I went to the party, the hostel and shit like that. Like, but from everywhere, you know, Canada, all over Europe and everything like that. But other than that, in the little hostel area, it was only regular people. I didn't see any of the type of people that you see like in Medellin or Cartagena. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
None at all. And that's like me right there in Santa Marta. And then there's also you go up to Minca. There's all these different areas. There's Piera. There's like, and that's just in one country. People are terrified to move around, and I think a lot of people should be terrified. If you're goofy in the least bit, don't go to other countries and do what I do, or get somebody who you know, like me, and then hope they'll take you around to some places. Because if you're goofy, if you're the type of person that gets drunk and change places, or you have no street smarts for real, you don't know how to move around properly. You can let somebody call you over to them, like come over here or some stupid shit like that. Like if you think that would ever happen to you, just don't go places. You know what I'm saying? Until you get it together, or you have somebody to roll with. But if you do have it together, I suggest that you move around like as much as possible, and do it solo, at least once.
That's another thing, right? I would never go to another country, especially for the first time, and even consume alcohol at all. Like I don't like I'm not saying that you shouldn't drink or anything like that, but I just you know it's sort of like the same mentality of how people will like instinctively, like if they're looking for like an address or something, or they're trying to like look for their turn, they'll turn the radio down,
Mm-hmm.
like you because that's that doesn't really do anything, but you want your mind to be as sober as possible, like I don't know. I just I know there have been things that happened in like Medellin and a couple other cities or what have you in Colombia, but I would say that a lot of that was based on more so user error and like just not being smart.
Yep.
Like you you
You
gotta
see, you don't see the title of the show. I'm trying to save these motherfuckers. That goes along with the dangers of listening to women. It doesn't matter the language. You feel me? It
yeah.
doesn't matter the language. Don't listen to what bitches. Yo, I try to keep it simple for motherfuckers. If they just don't listen to bitches, they can't drug you. They can't do any weird shit like that. Oh, we should do this. No, we should do whatever the fuck I want to do. We're not gonna do nothing you want to do. Why? Because I'm over here on my vacation. Why are you overseas listening to bitches? See, the disease runs deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is insane. This shit is insane. But I understand what you're saying. And I saw people like like right in front of me, and it's motherfuckers who be drinking. Like, and to be real, I don't know if black guys are just too prideful to tell what happened. Even though I see some guys online saying they got drugged or whatever, but I think they're more looking for sympathy or some shit like that to get their numbers up. But out there, I really saw like white guys because they'll be super lit, and I saw a white guy right next to me got his phone jacked. I didn't see it happen in real time, but it just happened right there, and he like kind of thought he knew who did it. But what are you gonna do? If somebody Colombia's out there, what do you do? Run down on somebody like that? So your shit's getting slipped out your pocket. And I was in the club with some people who I met out there, and like some Americans and shit, like some white boys from Philly. It was mad funny. So I'm in the club with them, and I look over and I saw some weird shit happen. I'm like, what the fuck was that? But it didn't make sense to me because I'm just kind of partying. And then like I see him later. I'm like, what the fuck was happening right there? And he says, yo, I caught somebody trying to slide my phone out my pocket. So when I looked over, I see his phone like halfway in his pocket. I see his hand. I see him looking funny. He's not like, he's like a white guy. He's not really aggressive. So it was kind of like I couldn't tell what was going on. I couldn't tell the energy. But I was like, yeah, it's going down like that if you're goofy in the least bit. And let me tell the truth. I'm a black guy. I'm pretty tall. And I have a face that goes with the name of the channel. You know what I'm saying? So I put that into the equation too. Like I just don't look approachable. Maybe I look like too much trouble. Like even in the States, let me this like a sidebar. But even in the States, I've had a bunch of homies who've been like dragged around by the police, like thrown on the ground and all types of weird shit. And I mean, these are my softest homies, like the ones who are not street. And then like, it's always the most square person this happens to. But then I'm like, cops never even give me like super aggression, hardly ever. You feel me? Like it's just because they're like, damn, this might be too much trouble if we start dragging this motherfucker around. You know what I'm saying? So that is, the biology is real. It's a part of things. If you're small, you might look like a victim. It is what it is. Yep. You know what? If you happen to come through my channel and you want to give me money, let's say you're a crypto billionaire, you just want to get put onto game, and money don't mean nothing to you, you can give me a whole bunch of money. I'll take you to Colombia. I'll take you to all the cool spots you have experience nobody ever had before, and I'll put you down with my driver. And my driver got the burner on him legally. So if anything goes down, my driver's been instructed to shoot everybody, and we're gonna work it out later. We're gonna if anything goes crazy, shoot everybody that's not us. Let's come aggressive, and then we'll pay for it. We'll work it out. You know what I'm saying? But damn, I lost my fucking point wilding over here. But yeah, whatever. We could change gears, because this show was about the dangers of listening to women, and it's crazy how this is just the dangers of listening to women is a macrocosm, and we're just talking about these little microcosms. You feel me? But everywhere that you go, there's gonna be that same danger lurking, and you shouldn't do it. Because I know KB wasn't here in the earlier parts of the stream when I was playing this nonsense, but it just shows how men's mind have been infected by the thinking of women by listening to them. If you talk to them and listen to them too much, you're going to be anxiety ridden. You're going just going to start taking it, and you're going to think, because you're so smart, you're going to be taking their words as if it's data, but it's not real. It's not real. So you taking these words as data just gives you a false result at the end. You're running all these hypotheses and shit, trying to figure out shit. Your blood pressure's going up. You feel me? And the bitch is just, man, I'm trying to say these niggas, man. You know, Sunday service, man, pray for these niggas, man. Well, I'm getting a little.
But see, like with what you said, right? The thing is, like, chaos is equilibrium for them. You see what I'm saying? So, like my man was talking about how, like, the woman would tell him, "Oh, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do." When everybody was just chilling, right? Like, once I understood that my equilibrium is like being content and peace, and her equilibrium is chaos, like, it helped me to really understand. And so, like, what men have to do is they have to come into the chaos, because, you know, you can't just have everything be the same way, right? So you have to control how you access the energy of the chaos to get what you want, as opposed to letting it overtake your piece. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I guess as a man, you're supposed to take the chaos and put it into some type of order. When I say order, I'm not saying correct a bitch or none of that shit.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying
no, no, no. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? They'll be okay.
yeah,
No, order meaning like order
order
yourself
for
up something you want. Yeah.
yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. And another
You
thing
know,
about the
you
chaos.
can't
Go
you
ahead. Go ahead.
can't have like you know what I'm saying, like a nine sum with everybody doing lines of coke and stuff like that if you're just like on a even keel. You know, you dip your toe into that water, get what you want, and then come right back over to your side and then let it burn down. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like dudes just don't want to like win. That's the thing that makes me mad, right? Like, okay, and you talk to them. It's like, okay, you know that if you do this, and this, right? Like if you well no, I won't be that specific because you know I don't want the loophole to close and you know me not be able to benefit from it personally. But what I'm saying is, why are men
Holla at me
so
in the back chat
uncomfortable?
too. Holla at me in the
You
back
said
chat with
what?
information. Holla at me in the
Oh
back
yeah.
chat with information. I'm sorry. We're not gonna let that go by. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't even think about that, but and I'm glad you said that. But my thing is, why are dudes just so uncomfortable having like shooting 100% from the field?
It's not that they don't want to. It's that they think they can't. They don't even see the. I'm saying this just goes on with what I was saying earlier. Your intelligence, you can think yourself into idiocy because you're taking things like I said earlier, propaganda that's not real data, and you're putting that into your data set. That's how motherfuckers who can be intelligent think themselves into nonsense. That's how you can become a full-on nihilist in a world of endless possibility. That is that is the problem right there. So you got to take somebody into even being able perceiving how to win. And then the more I talk to people, the more like I realize I don't want to bring them into my reality. I don't want them to maybe you'll muddy up my shit. Because I'm from where I came from, I'm winning, but I'm not satisfied. My businesses and how the shit's going and the trajectory that we're on is fucking insane. Things are bigger than I ever thought they could be. But I'm not even satisfied with that. I'm still teaching myself skills. I want to be trading freely. That's freedom to me. Me having a business and making products and paying rents and having facilities and all this shit, that shit is not freedom to me. To me, freedom is trading, pulling money out the matrix wherever you are on the planet and keeping it moving. So I say that to say this. People don't even see themselves advancing from the point that they're at, from where they've been programmed. If they don't even have a trajectory to even start to build inertia in that direction. And then again, how could you teach somebody to be inquisitive? That's like an odd thing to me. I can't teach you to be inquisitive. There's fucking YouTube. The same way that we look at nonsense on here and we have a good time or whatever, you can teach yourself just about anything. Right here on this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But I digress, man. It's just I don't know how you give that to somebody. Go ahead.
No, I mean you're right. Like how you can, if somebody doesn't know something, you can teach them, right? But you can't teach people to want information. You know, like that's the hard part. How do you even approach that?
Yeah, you're right. That's why the title of the show is the title of what it is. Because I just wanted to tell you to stop listening to false information, and maybe you'll be able to think at some point. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but if you just stop paying attention to propaganda and false data points from nonsensical, illogical, chaotic motherfuckers, be it women or reptilians or Satan or all of the or all of the above. You feel me? They all might be working together.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Or those motherfuckers might be targeting. Let me not get too deep. Let me not get too deep. How do you get these movements? Bitches never did shit in the world. That means men made these movements. I'm going too far, man. I'm going too far.
No, you're right. They didn't build anything. You know, that's why the focus needs to be on men.
And we're going too far. And like, I I don't even know if I want to hear anything that these guys got to say anymore because the subject's kind of changed, and now I'm like, at first I was gonna have a little fun with this, but I realized I'm living an infinite possibility, and it's more fun just to look at places to go and what to do. So we're gonna take this off the screen. I know KB's been chilling back for a minute. You there, KB? You got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. 100% facts. I agree with majority of where you guys are coming from in terms of your perspective. I just feel like it's so like the dude I was hanging with. He is so zombified. I mean, I can't really blame the dude. I mean, his father's a beta bucks. He gave him that game, so he sees it as some sort of like major part of his reality. So a dude like that, I mean, I gave him so many solutions, so many alternatives. I'm trying to show this guy, look, man, there aren't any more relationships, especially in this modern era. I mean, you got to go into the tribes, and to do that, that is another thing that you cannot even bear to witness, seeing how modernized he is. So I mean, it is what it is, bro. It's so sad because this guy had so much potential, but he let women sort of control his chain of thought and his brain, sort of co-opt his brain as a whole. So it's over, man. It's over. It's really sad because it's one of the brothers that I grew up with. I was like, damn, man, it's over, man. It's over. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Like I'm saying, like people have to have their position. Shout out to Beta Simp Life in the chat. He said, "Watch those better words. Maybe you need to clarify. Maybe you need to hit the link and come up here and clarify." Shout out to my dog, but you know what? Don't hit the link. You're in the DR right now. Don't hit the link. No, don't come over here and hang out with us over here in hell. Do your thing over there, and I'll show you have plenty of stories. We'll talk when you get back, or you can hang out with us. I don't know what's going on over there, but oh yeah. To connect with what KB was saying, I got the homie over here. Like, so when I really got serious about working out, this is like before the pandemic, so I don't know what year it was, but I really like went super hard working out, and I had a homie who joined me, who I just got dealing with ain't shit, single mom bitch, wilding out, all this shit, and he escaped without getting the bitch pregnant. And I was like, yo, you know how lucky you are, dog? He's like, oh, he's hanging with me like he understands. The motherfucker was bigger than me, or as big as me, and got slimmer than me. We were going about the same rate, but he got slimmer than me, like extreme changes. Like, it's very interesting. When you go into the gym and you're serious about it, you'll notice that you'll see yourself change, and you'll realize that nobody in the gym around you changed. It's like the same motherfuckers coming there for years. I know. But let me get to the point. So we get to this point. So we're chilling. We got an LLC. We're thinking about doing a little side business, trying a couple of things. As people, let me put this out there too. When you're doing business, don't be afraid to fail fast. Keep trying shit. Something's gonna work. You feel me? But we're trying shit. We got business popping. We're chilling. Link up on a workout shit, serious activity shit. So he ends up starts dealing with this new chick. The pandemic came in too. Pandemic made me kind of fall off a little bit too, but I got back on it. He gets with this new chick. I don't see him. Don't really hear from him that much anymore. I hit him up. It's like, he's not coming through. When I see him again, this guy's huge. I'm like, how do you gain that weight back so fucking fast? Now he's like bigger than he was before. Not coming around. I know he didn't want to tell me because he knows what I'm gonna say. He told me one day, I'm like, yo, let's link up, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I have to go to this recital. I'm like, recital? I'm like, you fucking stepdaddy or something? What the fuck is going on? He's like, he hit me with it is what it is. My heart broke, dog. I was like, it's over. Earth is over. It's over for this nigga. And the thing is, it's a sad thing. Like, you have to find like-minded people. Just because you grew up around a motherfucker, you know them, doesn't mean they're truly like-minded. They might subscribe to your thinking in the moment, but I'm sure everybody's experiences. If you got the type of homie that disappears or is less reliable because he has a bitch, then was it really your homie? Was that really your dog? You feel me? Is that nigga even human? Is he a fucking robot? Controlled by the AI bitch? Is he? You never know. You feel me? Kind of like in the Matrix, how they say anybody that is still plugged into the Matrix is a potential agent and is dangerous. I don't think people really understood the magnitude of that statement in that movie.
Facts.
Yeah, I don't think people really understood the magnitude of that statement and how. And it was, I think it was illustrated perfectly how the motherfuckers would just change and morph into the agent right there. It happens that quick. It happens that quick. And the more that the people are propagandized by the media and this shit and getting these little groups, just like the whole little pandemic situation we had where they were encouraging people on some communist shit to snitch if you saw your neighbor had more than 5 people at their house or some shit like. Yo, I usually don't give a fuck what's going on in the world, but when that shit went down and I couldn't ignore it, I was like, that shit made me semi-doomer depressed for a minute because I was like, yo, these people are idiots. They will do anything. They will do anything. If they came on the TV and told them to start eating niggas, like go outside, you can start eating niggas and cooking them on the goddamn barbecue and shit. Motherfuckers would go outside and start eating niggas. You feel me? That shit would happen immediately. So I digress. I know that shit got strange. I know that shit got strange. Go ahead, Brad. Clean this shit up, dog. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. And what you said, people are already doing that because they eat McDonald's, but that's a topic for another day.
Oh, homie just went there, bro.
I couldn't leave you out there by yourself.
And that's a proven fact. You know, we can't even go. It's a proven fact. And then we got to go into the why would they be doing that? Why? And that's where the shit gets weirder. And I don't know. I kind of got the audience over here. Maybe I should I made another channel to go into the deeper subjects called Nigga Gnosis. You feel me? And I feel like I should just do a certain night of the week where we go.
Wait. The Nigga Gnosis is already out.
Yeah, I created the channel, I created the banner and all that shit. I haven't done any content over there because I'm not sure. Like, can you automatically live stream on your other channels, or you got to do content over there and build it up so you can live stream like on this thing?
I think it's the second option.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might do a show here once a week on the Nigga Gnosis shit or twice a week, and then drive the traffic over there. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who's interested in having those conversations will make their way over there.
Yeah. Just put the link to the Nigga Gnosis so I can subscribe or some shit like that, you know.
Yeah, facts. Me too.
Yeah, I'll drop it there. How do I come across a link for the channel? How do I find it? I'll figure it out. I'm not trying to mess up the flow of the show. I feel like we're talking some good shit right now. But
yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Highly anticipated channel, man. Sorry for interrupting you, but that's a highly anticipated channel. You know.
It is what it is, man. Well, it will happen when it's supposed to happen. I will be doing those from exotic locations, you know, dope backgrounds. Nigga knows this shit. We're gonna take it to a different level. You feel me? And I'm keeping this in mind, and anybody who comes over here should also keep it in mind. Even if it's not for yourself, you can help me out with your mental energy. Project me overseas in dope places, doing more of the shit that I do already. Thank you guys. If you can see it in your mind, just picture it. Hold the vision for a second as clear as possible. That's all I need. That's all I need projected into the fucking simulacrum, or the simulacrum, as I say. Yo, KB, you been staying up on the Jason Bashir shit?
Yeah, nah, bro. Like, Bashir, I mean, I get what I get from him, but I've been more concentrated on like the content that I've like sort of like where geographically where I'm located, right? So I've been interpreting ancient texts, the stories that I've heard from elders, just jotting down stuff, you know. So I've been more focused on me, if I could say, yeah.
I feel you. As you should be. The only reason I like that guy's content and I came across it because it's kind of like how how I kind of have the theory how like our white people are like AI that we created that got out of control, and they're just doing the same thing again that we did. It's just gonna keep patterning. But he is kind of doing the work of some AI for me because he's taken concepts that I've had for years and he puts it straight into like it's like it's very weird. It's like it's a lot of synchronicity. I'll watch a random video and he'll be talking about something that I've talked about a lot, just in a different way, in a scientific way to package this shit or whatever. And I'm like it's very interesting. Like the timelines, all that shit. Not bad. I don't really care about that shit. I more care about the control system and how you free yourself from this reality and how you really move around. And he really conceptualized and explained the pattern breaking in a way that I don't know if he said it more. I want to say more eloquently because he's sounds like a hillbilly with a very good vocabulary, but he just put it in a very digestible way. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, in a very digestible way. Because basically, if you go over there and watch that shit, you've heard me talk on other shows about certain shit. It's basically on the same lines of thinking. That's why like I'll have mundane conversations for conversation's sake, mostly to be funny and relate to people. We're laughing, talking crazy with each other, but I'm not really concerned with mundane reality that much because most of it is propaganda, and that propaganda fucks up your own thinking, and you need to be able to think to manifest. And if you are in a state of stress, which propaganda puts you in, if you're in a state of stress, then you can't think properly. That means you can't manifest properly. So if you don't like how I'm saying that shit and it sounds woo woo, so let me put it in simpler terms. If you can't think about shit, you can't do shit. That's how magic and occult magic and all that shit works, guys. It's not anything crazy. If you're gonna go eat a hamburger later today, how did that hamburger get into your digestive system? You thought about it first, or maybe something triggered you to want to have the hamburger. Then it put the vision in your mind. You held the vision in your mind. That vision made you move forward in momentum. You ended up at the hamburger spot. Magically, you're eating a hamburger. Crazy, right? Crazy. How about you extrapolate that to the rest of your life? Because everything's working. That's how this whole system is working. Exactly like that. But I don't even know how I went that far. The noodles are kind of fire. The Asian lady on the street. I'm like, yo, give me some cat knuckles and a side of. Let me get 3 packs of rat tails.
Yeah. So, like with that video, that's the street food, right? But
Yeah.
me and my kid were looking at a video on YouTube, and it was in a restaurant, and it was a popular restaurant, you know. So basically, like, you know, kind of like you know, Applebee's or Outback or what have you, but it was like, you know, Thailand, and it was pad thai, and you know, you could get it with like whatever meat that you wanted or whatever you, and it was you know, the conversion was like $3.87, and it came with like a side of bean sprouts and like ground peanuts and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, I'm like, that's something. If you got the vegetable version, right, you could literally eat that every day, right, and live to be 80, right, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, without the GMO, with like the fresh vegetable that was like a vegetable, you know, that was in the ground either that past week or, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
Definitely.
so the thing was, you know, it brought a thug tear to my eye because, you know, me and him, we had ordered some food earlier, and he heard the price. Now, you know, he's young. He doesn't know like the full understanding of like how much this costs or this much this costs, right? But he knows his numbers, and he knows that the meal that we had, which was $46, was way more expensive than what the $3 that they were talking about in the video. He was like, "Well, that looks better than what we had, and you could eat that every day for a little bit of money." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, like
so, and then so he told me, he was like, "Man, now he's a little kid, right? But just the concept of the fact that he was aware enough to say, hey, wait a minute, like there's different, like there's better food, there's a different possibility or what have you outside of where we are, than where we are, right? You know, I was like, man, who's cutting onions in this mug? You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like
crazy.
that, like that's the type of stuff that like makes me proud, you know. And I told him, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I said, listen, like, you know, your friends are here. That's really, really, really far away. Like, if we got on a plane and went there, it would take almost a whole day. Like, and I reminded him of a road trip where it took a long time. He's like, well, you know, basically, like, you know, sometimes you just got to do that if you want to do something cool or do something fun or whatever. So
You got a smart kid.
I'm like, man, don't listen. Don't tell me.
He's like, it ain't nothing but jet fuel. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you know, and you know, we just got his passports on the way. He was like, wait, you already have yours. He's like, I'm gonna have one like you do, and then we can go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like that's the type of stuff that makes me happy. Like I don't get, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like, and I know also for a lot of dudes, it's also different, right? Because with men, it's written, you know, your legacy, you continuing with kids and stuff, is really hardwired into like a man's DNA, and it takes a lot of energy to like defeat that, you know. Or, but you know, like I said, like I already got, for me, I'm fortunate because, like I said, the legacy is already established. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really don't care about what these females think. You know, like, man, I don't care. And it would be like, you know, the turning point for me, right? I was having a conversation with one of my boys, right? And I, you know, I was talking trash on Facebook, and one of my boys pulled me to the side, meaning like, you know, he sent me an instant message, and he was like, "Man, like, if you keep talking like this, man, you know," he was quote unquote half joking, but he was like, "Yeah, you know, you're not going to be able to get any chicks." And I'm like, and I thought about it. I thought about it all night. I'm like, wait a minute. If that's the case, I don't even want them. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I want something, right? Like it does. Okay, if you are diabetic, right, and then your body can't process sugar, right, and then you eat a German chocolate cake, you're gonna feel terrible. You're gonna get sick, right? Eating that food, that particular food, has a direct correlation with you feeling bad. It's the same thing. Why would I want to like shrink myself, negatively alter myself, right? Like hold my, because what, you know, what I was saying, I'm not saying like, oh, all women are ugly, blah 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 blah. No, I was talking facts. You know, like what I was saying wasn't untruthful. He was just saying you're going to cut off your access, right, by being too honest. Oh, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Then I don't want it. And what I learned is the biggest lesson that I've learned, and I wish, and real quick, just for context, you obviously don't have to say your actual age or what have you, but like, what age range are you? Like, you know, 30 to 35, 35 to 40, like 25 to 30.
No, I said I'm 37.
Okay. All right, bet. So like we're the same age. And so the thing that I wish, and that's why, like, you know, with the young brothers that I like mentor and everything now, some of it is through my, you know, current career, right? It is, I give them the game that I wish that I had, which is the fact that if you just focus on yourself, if you just focus on yourself, you create an environment that people want to be a part of anyway. You know? Like what you lose is you lose the women that are like just out for self, you know?
Yeah, because I feel
And
like a
then
lot of,
you gain the interest of women. Not to say that that should be your focus or anything, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's just like I talk to way more by legitimately not caring, you know. And I'll tell you, I don't care. Like this is what like you know, I'm Wolverine from X-Men, right? Okay, like I'm going on this side quest over here. You can come along if you want to, right? But if you disturb me from my side quest, you can go. And if at any point you want to go, please go. You know, but no matter what you do or what you say, I'm going over here.
No, most people don't realize that, or they can't accept, or maybe they don't want to, or I don't know what's wrong with these motherfuckers. But you're supposed to be your own microcosm. You know what I'm saying? We're in the macrocosm, but you're supposed to be your own world, your own planet, however you want to put it. And then you exist regardless of what's going on. You exist. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
you might have people who like to be in your world, and then they orbit around your world. They're within your solar system and shit. And then you have like fucking people who just come and go, pass through your shit. You feel me? Then you can come together like that. But you should be able to like stand on your own and be fine without any issue. Like well, damn, I won't miss that point of the other thing that you said. What was the first thing you were saying? I had another point I wanted to make. I don't know. I'll let you keep going. It'll come back to me.
It's cool. So what I was saying is, it's like every dude should, and let me be careful about how I say this. Every dude should be living like a Forrest Gump like existence, right? Not directly, because he was a complete simp, and he wasn't very intelligent. He didn't have a high IQ. But I'm talking about in the sense that he literally, and a man should take more control over his life and stuff. I'm not saying be exactly like him, but I'm talking about like the adventure that he went on.
Yeah,
Like,
a trek, a journey.
yeah,
You feel me? Like if we like, and just like KB's here, so you can say like he comes from a society where you have like a rites of passage and all this shit. We don't have that shit anymore. You have to create this shit for yourself. You have to do something to transform yourself into a new person. You feel me? You have to move with intention. Meaning, and people think like, all right, this goes on another thing. So when it comes to programming yourself and self-hypnosis and auto-suggestion, you do it through repetition, visualization, or trauma. Trauma and repetition is how you create mind control. So just because you can do that in a negative perspective to mind control someone else doesn't mean you can't do the same thing with yourself. You create repetition and trauma or a self-induced suffering to bring a better result. Well, what's a good example? Working out. You go in there and you suffer, but from the suffering you get a result. That's a very mundane example I can give. But you can extrapolate to other shit. Maybe you isolated yourself, or you cut yourself off from this, or you started fasting. You did this or did this or that while you were moving towards the goal that you wanted. You self-induced suffering to bring a change. You understand what I'm saying? You broke. It's basically, it comes in with a breaking pattern and all that. But I digress. I don't want to, and I remember my point that I wanted to say before. Like, since we're around the same age, you definitely know about this era. You know about the Patrice O'Neal era. And if there's anybody who I really listened to and liked as a person beyond just like saying some shit about bitches, because he was a philosopher talking about all things beyond just bitches. But when it comes to, I never was into like the PUA thing or any of these old groups or whatever, but I listen to what he said, because he said don't follow him, but his main thing was your happiness is paramount. Like, your happiness is paramount, number one. You feel me? And a lot of people were, and maybe it goes with my personality already, so maybe everybody can't implement that, but I implemented a little of the things that he was saying, maybe a little too much, and it always worked for me. But you get to see who gives you the most pushback. It wasn't the women that gave me pushback. It was fucking simps and guys around me who I thought were my friends and shit like that. When I was really like turned up on that shit. When I'd be at a bar or whatever, we're talking shit, we're chopping it up. You know, you're talking with your boy, you're in a deep conversation. You're on the crest of coming to epiphany. You know what I'm saying? And out of nowhere, a bitch just comes over, being like what she shouldn't be, gregarious or whatever, being overbearing to saying shit, and most people just let it take over because the bitch is over here, she's talking. Maybe I should start talking to her. Maybe I can start talking to her. Maybe that will lead to me getting pussy at some point. So everybody folds. I stopped giving a fuck about any of that shit, and I would always say what I think. I'd be like, yo, you don't see us speaking here, and I wouldn't be extra hard about it. I just be normal. You don't see us speaking over here. We're in the middle of a conversation. Give us a couple seconds. Like, that's very rude. Just chill out for a second. And motherfuckers, the dudes around me would look at me like, you can't see my face, but they'd be wide-eyed like, oh, what the fuck? He's saying something to the bitch, and I've had bitches just from me saying something as simple as that almost go so crazy, like they almost short circuited. Like I mean, the bitch almost short. I had a bitch like almost like she was about to throw a glass of water on me just for saying something as simple as that. But good thing I see things like that. I could see the glass in her hand shaking and looking all weird, and I was like, I see that you might throw that glass of water, and whatever you think is gonna happen after that is not gonna be what you think is gonna happen. You feel me? So I gave her a healthy threat, and it didn't happen. But what I'm saying is, it connects to your point. The dudes are going to give you the pushback to you being free because they've become the guard dogs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at bitches. Bitches are supposed to be bitches. I'm mad at simps, the most chaotic, destructive force on earth. You feel me? Simps are fucking up other worlds. The simps are fucking up other dimensions and shit like that with their simping. That's how destructive the force of simping is. You feel me? I think being around a simp, that shit irradiates you. You might die from this shit, nigga. I'm telling you. Don't stop. Don't go around them. You need a hazmat suit to be around niggas who simp too much. But I digress. You got any words, KB, Bran?
Like your approach with what you said was cool, right? But the only problem is, like, you know, in our country, right? Like that'll get you killed because she'll call somebody, you know, big brother, and then he touched my butt. You know what I'm saying? Now they shoot the whole bar up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like it's a whole ecosystem of simping. You know?
But you listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying yo bitch shut up, yo. I wasn't saying yo bitch shut up, fall the fuck back. I was just being honest. What was in my mind? Like I just removed the filtering system that like men have to worry about how everybody else feels. Like nobody gives a fuck about how niggas feel, but we have a filtering system where we don't say shit, always worried about how motherfuckers feel. And I don't know if I subscribe to the shit will get you killed in the West thing. I understand what you're saying, but you know what? You could be right, and I can also be right. If that is right, I still refuse to live as if that's my main concern. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's something that's gonna really change how I'm gonna move or acquire happiness or whatever the fuck they want to call it. But it could be true. So you could say those situations. Like I don't go like for one, I'm not gonna go to the hood. That's most likely to happen in a hood ass area. And you know what? Let me just totally agree with you. Because the more I'm thinking about the U.S., I don't even like going out here anymore. I don't do this shit. It's pretty corny. This is the longest stretch I've been in the country since last August, and I really have no like desire to go out here and hang out and all that shit. And it's not. I guess some of these guys complaining on this passport bullshit and all that shit, I guess they have different problems than I have, because it's not that you can't get bitches. It's easy. You go out and be in proximity of bitches long enough. I just know other people are going to disagree with their thoughts of their black pill thoughts and shit like that, and oh no, if you don't have this or that, like whatever. I've observed different in reality. I'm just saying, at least for me, let me just speak for myself. All I gotta do is go out and be in proximity. But going out in this country consists of drinking alcohol. If you don't want to drink alcohol, then you have to be around drunk people. This shit is not fun. It's not worth it. Motherfuckers go out. I had another theory back in the days when I was like hustling and when I was out and shit like that all the time. I noticed a lot of guys did coke because bitches liked coke. I noticed. I'm not saying like a man can't be addicted to coke. I'm saying that I noticed a lot of men kept the white on them and the powder because bitches love the powder. That's why they had it. It's like they didn't. And I have, and I'll extrapolate that. I feel like most dudes don't even like drinking that much. They just know that's what they have to do to be social and be intoxicated with the chaotic Baphomet. If you feel me, with the Baphomet energy, they know that's what they have to do. And it's just sad that everybody's curving themselves to a different false reality to hopefully maybe have access to a bitch. And if that was your only option, I'd be like, fuck it. We gotta fuck pussy. It is what it is. But it's not your only option. Especially if you live in a place in the country where it's advantageous to you, like to me, close to South America, or you're in Texas or some shit like that. But even if you aren't, it's very feasible for you to get wherever the fuck you want to get. So why would I spend any money here? When I think about going out, and I like to eat very nice food, going to like a Michelin star restaurant here in the States, and looking at the check with me and my homies, I'm like, God damn. Goddamn, after traveling, because guess what? They have Michelin star rated restaurants overseas too. And the shit is better than here. And a quarter of the price. So you can live at any level of life you want to live. Like there's nothing better here. The only thing better here is that you were, I guess you could say you were blessed. You were born in the land of propaganda and Satanism, but at least you can make some money. At least you can make some money. So that's the only thing good here. Get American dollars while they're still good, and do something else with them. Because if somebody can give me a counterpoint saying if there's any other reason to do shit here, I'll listen to it. But other than that, I don't want to do shit here. I don't want to. Maybe if I have a really high surplus of extra money, buy some real estate here, let it do what it do. But you can't even really do that anymore. BlackRock's brought all their properties and they fucked up the markets, and people are so greedy that they're fucking over their renters so badly that soon people are going to be so fucked they can't rent your properties. You can't pay for all these investment properties that you bought, and guess what? The bank and BlackRock buys them all, and everybody's renting. And that's how it is. Even though in America you're renting anyways, you pay property tax. You don't pay that shit. They're going to take your house. I had a house and property in Jamaica. We didn't pay the property tax for goddamn like 7 years. Property tax was like $480 to catch up, and the government never came and tried to take our shit. Nigga, you slip your property tax over here for a goddamn month or some shit, it's over for your ass. This nigga like, oh, I own my house. I paid it off. I worked all these 35-year mortgage, and I finally have it. It's mine. And then you get sick for a little bit. It's over.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, so I can't really see any reason to be here and have this be my main spotlight. As long as I can keep siphoning money from the devil and taking money, and hopefully I can tap into not hopefully, I am tapping into the simp economy, and I'm gonna get some of that simp money too, because they seem to be giving it out. So I'm gonna get some of that simp money too somehow, and we're gonna be in exotic locations, and then we're gonna be having these conversations for a very long time. It just is what it is. Amen. Sunday service. You want to add something, Brian?
No, I mean, you spoke on all that. I mean, it's absolute chaos over here, and there's a book called The 48 Laws of Power. You read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, so the best chapter is actually the last one, right? And that's where it sums up all the game. The 48th law is to assume formlessness, And my thing is, like, it's good to have properties and everything, right? And you should, and I will have more, right? But the most important thing is to have like your personal sovereignty and flexibility.
Facts.
Like every single man should watch the movie Heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's Robert De Niro.
That's an OG. That is, yo, man, I love that movie. 95. I love that movie.
Yep. And he was like, and so you already know what I'm about to say. He said, don't have nothing in your life that you can't walk away from in 30 seconds when you see the heat coming.
Mm-hmm. You can extrapolate that to I guess it's your life period. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. And that's why it always brings me back to, like, myself. I'm an endless well of ideas. I'm always gonna have ideas to make money. Making money is never gonna be my problem. How you get the money is not how I look at it, and that's why I keep coming back to trading. Nothing, or my business is on such a level where it's automated, and I'm kind of like moving towards that. But to me, there's just something about trading. There's just something about robbing the bank, fucking the matrix over. I like that. I like that I can wake up, look at the code, just see this shit, and motherfucker just see all these lines and shit. But I see, oh, there goes greedy people. There goes bankers. There goes supply. There goes demand. Let me get in right there. Let me snatch out a quick little 10 racks, and we're done with our day. When we sat here for 3 hours. And people, you say something like that, and people don't see it as a reality. But people really do this. People are pulling out. People there are people who, if they're not on their trading day, if they're not making 100 racks, they feel like they fucked up. They're fucked up that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, these numbers are moving around freely in the world. People don't realize how much, when you're in a multi-trillion-dollar market, you can get your piece. That's multi-trillion. That's trillions of fucking dollars. Think about it. You could be in a small market. You could be in, like, I don't know. Let me know, some entertainment industry or some shit. Like, let's say you could be in the adultainment industry. That's like an $18 billion a year industry or something like that, or 11 or 8. It's somewhere around there. But that's not in the trillions. That's in the low billions, and you can still get multi-millions out of that shit. So, just. Oh, is this the right word? The rate of diminishing returns? No, maybe I'm using the wrong word. But just looking at those numbers and developing the skill to reach in there, that means if you drop your little claw machine into the matrix, you should be able to pull out a shitload of money. All you have to do is get over the initial hump. Once you get past the initial hump, and you can start building inertia, and then you start snowballing, and it just grows and grows. And most people don't have the fortitude to get past the initial hump. They don't have the fortitude to get past failure, or to fail quickly, or to fail and then return, or go take a breather and keep coming back to this motherfucker until it pays you. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But I know, I digress. I guess it's something you really can't teach, and that's something that I had to teach myself. And a lot of this talking I do is I'm really talking to myself. I'm reiterating to myself and saying out loud what will happen and what needs to happen. But you can go ahead.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
There's some.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I just.
Go ahead, KB.
Yeah, I was saying just on that point of failure, right? That I've noticed that there's just something about failure that puts you on a really, I'd say, higher metaphysical level, because that self-critique that comes with the failure, in whatever I do, right? Like in recent times, especially when I'm doing some technical analysis, or I'm trying to, land a trade or something, like, I look forward to failure because I know I'm going to learn a lot more out of that failure than I would have by just keeping my guard on and saying, no, let me not do this because of this. There's just something about failure that I feel like it has this sort of untapped market in terms of revealing the actual superpower of having power. Sort of like that superhero trope that they always push, in movies, that they always have to go through this hardship, before they actually actualize and become that superhero, manifested person, and just to go into what Anthony was talking about that you're supposed to have that sovereign, firm stand as a man, and that is one of the, I mean, to synchronize it, like, it's kind of funny because, like, when you go through rites of passage, that's one of, like, the most integral parts of our initiation, as men, is that they teach you the stuff like, look, man, you have to look after the rhythm, you have to protect it, you have to be pulling stuff from the spiritual plane, putting it down here, I mean, even though this might sound simpish, this is where they put in the woman that, look, man, if you ever do have a kid, you're supposed to have some sort of information about the matrix that you could provide to your kid, that could build a certain world, within a world, so, I mean, yeah, man, it's so crazy, but yeah, let me let you guys go,
But that's the total point. If you're like, what's the point of having a kid if you're not showing them how to manipulate their reality as well as you have, or better than you have? You know what I'm saying? but then even if you have a kid, there's like I feel like there's a different level of responsibility that most people aren't attached to. Like what I notice, when I'm paying attention to it, I give a lot more of a fuck about the darkness in the world than people who have kids. And I feel like a lot of the dark shit, people who have kids should be way more concerned than I am. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not trying to, I'm not saying that you can, but I'm saying if you're not trying to at least affect the future and you're just keeping your kids alive, you're just feeding them, and then you're gonna put them into the indoctrination system, and then you move them through the whole indoctrination system, and then at the end they go to the next level of the indoctrination system. You pay to do that one, they're in debt, and then they pay for the certificate that shows that I've been fully indoctrinated and I will not buck the system at all. Please give me a job, you know? So once they do that, they're just out there in this fucked up world. So it's either one thing. You either have to, if you're having kids, you feel like you either have to try to affect the world, teach them how to affect the world, or get them the fuck away from shit and just until it gets fucked up over there. Like, I don't see any other options. We have Bran up here. He has a kid. So what do you think?
You know, okay, yeah, let him go.
I mean, so one of the things, I was very fortunate to have it was actually my mom that, took it upon herself to like make sure, that me and my siblings knew more than what we needed to know. And, like for instance, I remember my first couple of years to school, I was bored because I already knew how to read, And so like the kids were like learning stuff that I already knew, And, like in the cartoons where like somebody's bored and they're just filing their nails, like it was like that for the first couple of years. And so, you got to have an out the box type of thinking, right? Because the only way to be successful is to think outside of the box and to think, there was a rapper, his name is, rapper and a poet. He's from the DC area. He's called Kamisi. And he calls it the public fool system. And, that's a great way to describe it because there are valuable things that you learn. You need to know your multiplication tables. You need to know, how to write and grammar and all that type of stuff. Right. But then you start getting into Columbus and stuff like that. And then you got to step in and then give your children a real education. And, one of the reasons why I think it's important for kids to at least be exposed to public schools, right, is because your kids only really become indoctrinated if you have no relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? If you're there, like it's sort of like the Steph Curry effect, right? So when you look at all the pictures from like the early part of his career, like when he was starting to sign a shoe deal and all that type of stuff, Dell Curry was always in the photo in the back. You know what I'm saying? He was there. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, like, I don't understand how parents can just be like, okay, society can just have my child. No, you can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm right here, buddy.
But you
like
you have a son, correct?
Say again.
You have a son, correct?
Oh, yeah. I have a future king. Yes.
All right, so I can see how you have a son, you're in his life, you can kind of mold him away from the propaganda. But if you have a daughter and they're more into acceptance and being agreeable and shit like that, how the fuck do you keep them away from propaganda without isolating them?
I mean, honestly, like if I had a daughter, I would just, if the mom didn't want to, well, okay. So if my window is, so for women, their high risk pregnancy, it starts to happen towards their late 20s, right? Mm-hmm. Like my son's mom was only 27 when she had my son, and she had a rough pregnancy, and that's because for a body, right? It's sort of like a woman's reproductive system is like being an edge rusher in the NFL, right? You know, but by 15 years in, you know, that motor's not as strong. You know what I'm saying? You need to come in and out of the game, you know? And so at 27 and your cycle started at 13, that's 14 years, you know? That's a you know, that's the end of an NFL season or career, right? And so, but for men, it happens as well, but it's later. So your sperm starts to degrade at the age of 50, right? So for me, my window to have kids or have more kids, I would entertain it. I'm good where I'm at. Like I'm in a great place, like mentally, right? Because if I have no other kids, right, I'm good on that. But if I leave and decide to, my window is whatever kids I have will be had by the time I'm 45, and then that's it. And so my thing is, you know, I say it, if for whatever reason I put myself in a position where I had a daughter in this country, if the mom didn't want to leave the country, then she would just have to like go missing or something. I mean, you know, I'm exaggerating for point, or maybe I'm not, you know. I'm not, you know, I understand it's your YouTube channel, but I'll just say it this way. That I would not raise a daughter in this country. Ain't no way. No way.
I feel you 100% on that. And I've been looking at things for a while. I'm like, either I'm not gonna have any kids, or I might just start having kids recklessly all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Just putting the biological imperative out there, just as much DNA as I can all over the place. And if you could do it in like different countries, you want to be halfway responsible about it. You can do it in places where you can actually take care of these families for like $500 a month. You know what I'm saying? So you just had now your DNA's out there. If you think you're a certain level of intelligence, then you did your job. You put some more intelligent people out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like what's the point of having one kid unless the kid's just with me? Because like the family's over. You feel me?
Yeah.
The family's over. Like maybe I can get a chick overseas and she'd be cool and all that. But even that's just kind of, it's not weird to me. I would do it. Nothing's wrong with it. It's just that I'm like, when I get tired of this shit, like I can't even like, now I gotta listen to Colombian music. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
Like now I'm fucking Dominican, or I'm Thai now. You know what I'm saying? Which I could live there and be into it and all that shit. But I don't know. Here's another thing. I feel like what being Black American is so dope and so on a different level than everything around the fucking world. I'm sorry, KB, but so on a different level than everything around the world that I don't want to assimilate into any other cultures. There's a reason why the whole world assimilates to our culture, even the detrimental, nonsensical, chaotic bullshit. They still even assimilate to that shit because we're doing something special. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I wouldn't want to be detached from that. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. This is me talking right here in the U.S. When I'm in Colombia, and here's a point that I put forward all the time. The sex workers overseas are more pleasant than the good girls, the so-called good girls over here.
Facts.
They're nicer, more pleasant. You feel me?
It's like, okay, so I'm exaggerating for point, right? But $40 in here, over in this country, right? If you're trying to get a worker, $40 will get you a woman that is either a crackhead or a meth head or both, right? Who may be missing, they'll be missing at least the top row of teeth, but probably the bottom row as well, right? And your unit may incinerate. You know how like the space shuttle will glow orange when it gets into the Earth's atmosphere, right? Like your unit may have that orange glow on the first stroke, right? Whereas the same $40 in Colombia, you know what I'm saying, like will get you a girlfriend-like experience with a reasonably attractive woman, and she'll clean your Airbnb and make breakfast the next morning. You know what I'm saying? And like
have a smile on her face and be pleasant. And I'm like, and with the price, right? Like, of course, I'm exaggerating for point, but I'm just saying, like, why, 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 why even put yourself like, and the hardest part. You know what the hardest part is about travel?
Go ahead.
The hardest part about traveling, right, is when you come back.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
no, like I listen, like I've never been. I've had points in my life that were hard or whatever, right? And one time I had like I was sick one time, right? And that was a depressing time period. But that logically follows because of what's going on. I've never had clinical depression until I left the country. And then I'm not talking about Puerto Rico because that was the first place I went. But until I left the continental US and was sitting on that plane coming back, bruh, you know what I'm saying? I needed medication. I needed, I'm exaggerating for point, but I'm just saying, like, I was in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just, that little Kermit the Frog meme where he has his hand on the window and he's just looking outside. Like, I look like that dude. You know what I'm saying? I was distraught. I'm like, what am I doing here?
When you're on the plane coming back and you're looking out the window leaving, you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? Oh, my first solo trip out the country was Colombia.
Oh, no.
I went for what was supposed to be for 8 days and ended up being 2 weeks because on the day when I was supposed to leave, I woke up and I just said, no, like, I'm not going to the airport. Like, fuck all that. I'll spend more money. I don't care. I'm not going to the airport. So I just didn't go. My driver came and picked me up. Like, oh, we're going to the airport. I was like, no, let's go to the spa and then let's go eat some food. And
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about the spa or are you talking about the spa?
Yeah, you talk the spa. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah,
we'll get into more information later. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't like a rare thing. There's a dude like I met out there on my first trip. He was in front of the hotel. I'm like, he looks like a black American-ish, but he was speaking Spanish to the bitch. I'm just out there, and he just stopped speaking Spanish to her, and he's like, oh, yo, what's up, bro? Blah blah blah. He's like, oh, this your first time out here? Yeah. I've been out here. So he's talking. We're talking shit. So we end up chilling with each other. I don't know if this was my first trip this happened or was it my second or it was one of these next trips that I went out there. He's like, oh yeah, man, I gotta go. Fuck, I don't want to go. And I was there for a couple more days. I was like, yeah, you know what it is. Like, you work a remote job. Like, where are you going? Like, what's the fucking point? You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, but I gotta go and handle some things on the other side. And I'm like, okay, you gotta do it. Peace. I'm out on the block later, and I just see him like. He's like, yo, where you at? I'm like, yo, I'm over here. Why? Why are you asking me? He's like, yo, I'll be there in a second. He pulls up on me. He's like, yo, I was out at the airport in the line. I'm in the line with mad guys. I got my bags in my hand. We're about to go to the plane. He's like, man, I don't want to go. And the other guys are like, and guys are in the line like, yo, I wouldn't go if I didn't have to. I wouldn't go. Fuck that. He's like, yeah, I shouldn't go. Right there, like, nah, man, fuck that. He said, you turned around and left the line, and all the guys are like, yeah. So staying there is a normal. And here's the thing. I always put forward when I have these conversations, like, oh, is it just because you're over there fucking with bitches? No, yes, I'm a man. I wanna mess with women, but it's almost like a bodily function. Like, people don't like when I say it like this, but it's like taking a piss or having it's just something your body needs to do from time to time. You know what I'm saying? It's just more enjoyable. So with that biological, like, not imperative because you're not like creating children, but just by having sex, with that weight off your shoulders, you can think better. You can live a regular life. So that's why I say you should go on like a solo trip by yourself for like at least a week if you can pull it. 2 weeks if you can, but at least a week, because you don't want to go over there and just be running around like a tourist. You want to be able to live a life for a couple days. Go to the gym. Go to the spa. Do some work. Do some studying as if you were home. Some self-improvement type shit. You should go just long enough. You should go at least long enough so you have a couple days where you can do shit where you're not stressed out to go do like tourist shit. You're not like, it's not on your back like, oh, I gotta go do this. I gotta go, or I'm gonna run out of time. I'm gonna do this. No, you should have like a day or two where you can live regular life and see what it's like to live regular life out there. Mm-hmm. That's how you get a dope vibe. That's how you really get into yourself and get to see like what it is. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, like, I'm not watching my diet when I'm in Colombia ever. None of that shit. and I always come back looking better. Other people say this to me. I look better. I lose weight just from being over there. And I think it's the lack of stress. You feel me? I get there's a lot of hills because you're walking up and down and shit, but it's the lack of stress, man. You come back looking better, feeling better. Like as a man, I think you're supposed to be smashing on the regular. Your testosterone's up on the level that it's supposed to be. You're all around better. So even if you come back with a depression, you should come back. That's what I'm saying. Like I had the same depression. It's unavoidable. You're gonna have a Colombia depression, DR depression, Thailand depression, Brazil depression, Germany depression, Eastern Bloc Europe depression. You're gonna have all these depressions, Belarus depression. You're gonna have all these depressions, right? But how you can curb that a bit is before you leave, have a plan. Don't come over here depressed and then try to formulate a plan. While you're happy and a good energy, that's when you formulate a plan. All right, I digress. Go ahead.
No. You're man, you're dropping true bombs, man.
It's just what I've noticed. I've always had different philosophies on life and how shit worked and shit, but I like to break that down to like a mundane level that the regular person can understand. And like you were saying earlier, where you're like teaching your son, and even what KB was talking about on the tribal sense about giving information about the Matrix, like how I boil all that down is endless possibility, infinite possibility. So you guys, if you can hand that to a person or teach them your mind state of, because this is getting deep right now, but your thoughts truly aren't your own. It's bullshit coming in and out of your mind that you need to ignore most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So if you can understand to focus on your own vision and move forward, and that any vision you hold is possible, it makes a lot of shit easier. Even when you're dealing with the nonsense of the thoughts or depression or sadness or the suffering of this life because it's impermanence and losing shit, if you can still remember that through all the bullshit, you still have access to infinite possibility, you will be able to come back to equilibrium and then do something from that point. Get out the fucking water, get out the storm, get on shore, dry off a bit, and then you can move forward because you know I can do something. Now, what you can do, that's up to you. I just want motherfuckers to know you can do something.
Man, and it's man. I'm telling you, like man, like when you were talking, I was just listening, you know what I'm saying? And I was thinking about like my first couple trips, like full of red pill rage, and when I say red pill rage, I'm talking about the fact that like, I'm like, man, like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, my father knew this and didn't say anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you just gonna keep it to yourself? How you just not go, like tell me what it really is? I was never the type of person that was like looking to be blinded or anything, because there's some people that'll tell you like, hey, like, please give me a place to put my head in the sand. I don't want to know nothing. That was never me, but then finding out, the way that it really is and being mad. And then you realize, I'm like, okay, like over here, men have zero leverage, right? From the moment that a man ejaculates, right? That's the end of his control over anything else that happens. That's it.
Yeah, that's insanity, But people like just look at it like, all right, it is what it is. Like, put it this way, this whole system, it relates back to like teaching your kids what should be taught or not taught. Like even in school, like, you go to school and they never teach you about taxes. If you don't pay taxes, they'll put you in jail. You know what I'm saying? So they don't teach you anything about taxes in school, but it's something you have to do for the rest of your life. So I'm saying there's either two things you should be teaching your kids: how to do their fucking taxes and do them correctly, or we should be making a culture of teaching them that it's unconstitutional. None of us should be paying it. So you got to do one of the two things: either follow the rules very well, or try to get out of the set of the rules. Meaning, you're intelligent, but you're more a part of the intelligentsia. Meaning, I know this is bullshit. I know they could use it against me, so I'm going to find every single loophole and way out of this shit, and at the same time, I'm still going to be pushing forward the fact I shouldn't be having to do this shit in the first place. It's fucking slavery. But, I digress. I'm going somewhere else with it. My bad. Go ahead.
I mean, you just gotta understand that like the with what you just said, like you gotta teach yourself, man. Like you gotta teach yourself. You gotta mentor. I mean, I was talking to a young man, and it goes back to what you were originally saying, like a little bit earlier, when I first got on, where you were saying that it's not just good. It's not just bad for the man. It's bad for like society and everybody, right? And women, they got the little smug looks on their face and everything like that, and they're like, haha, like when there's a woman who was she got arrested, and she was dealing with eighth grade boy, and she bought him a gun. You know what I'm saying? And so she got arrested for that, and they were saying that she was looking at 40 years. So when I talk to women about it, I'm like, yeah, she might do 3, and then if she gets to 3, she'll get out in 2, Like, and so they have that little smug look on their face, like, oh, it's not a big deal, like, well, finally women are getting theirs, and but the ride is gonna end, Like they don't even understand that like behavior like that, just everything like that isn't sustainable, And I talked to another young man. A young man pulled me to the side and was like, asked me if I knew who Andrew Tate was. I said, wait a minute. I don't talk to, students about like red pill and stuff like that. But he came to me and was asking me like what I thought, And I'm like, man, you got 14-year-old dudes talking about Andrew Tate. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Even with things like that, like mainstream figures like Tate, like that, I think those might be like dangerous, like little animal farms. Like they see it from a grassroots movement and people having real discussions just online and being able to have discourse. A real consensus was like built, and an idea of what would be presented and how to deal with it was being just formulated from true alchemy. Just everybody throwing their bullshit in. We're all throwing lead in the pot and it becomes gold at some point through epiphany. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they see that happening. So they had to put these mainstream figures out there to kind of corral it. And how do you corral it? You go with the message. You parrot it. You make it look sexy. You put like Bugattis. You put Bugattis next to it. You put bad bitches. Everybody loves a bad white bitch. That's what I've been told. You feel me? So you put all this shit together, traveling, being on private jets, and then you put it with this message like, well, we want men to do better, and then you attach all this bullshit to it, and then you attach then you attach a religious connotation to it, and then you keep attaching shit to it until it becomes nothing, until it becomes something that's bad, until it becomes something that's evil to the point where you can't even really speak of it. You feel me? I feel like it's being pushed down that road of nonsense. Because I understand what you're saying, that even a young guy would even be thinking in that direction, but he's thinking in that direction not on the level that I'm thinking in that direction. You know what I'm saying? Just by the virtue of the age, you're not even there yet. You're taking things for what it is. You're looking at this shit at surface level, and on the surface level, it might look like a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But everything that like glitters isn't gold, as they say.
Yeah, no. I mean, so and definitely, and so I'm just saying that with these young dudes, they're not okay. They see it's like they're losing control of like the narrative, because what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to look at it as, oh, well, I'm gonna do this, work to get the Bugattis and stuff like that, right? And that means put effort into society so that we can help you extract your tax revenue, right? While you try and get to that so you can have these women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? No, they're not taking that from it. They're like, look, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to even focus on women at all. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do this, this, and this. I'm trying to like leave the country here. I'm trying to do that, And I'm like, like just hearing young men talk about like, that aren't even 18 yet, talking about like getting a passport, like, okay, so you have to, once you turn 16, that's the earliest age you can get your 10-year passport, right? I didn't know that until I heard a 17-year-old boy say that. You know what I'm saying? Like
So
there.
when you're 16, you can apply by yourself.
No. You can't apply by yourself, but when you're under 16, you can only get a passport for 5 years. So like kids can only get passport for 5 years, and then once you turn 16, that's when you can get your first 10-year passport.
Oh, so this young cat had details. He knew what was
Yeah,
going on.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is, and then you look at Florida, and they're starting to. Florida just made it so that, or just is ending lifetime alimony, right? And Tennessee, they're about to vote on a law to make Tennessee the first state that makes paternity fraud criminal act.
So they're doing criminal act. So is it the same state where they're making it mandatory that you have to do paternity at birth? They find out who paternity is, or that was another state, the same one?
No. It's them too. It's that same law.
And what the fuck was I gonna say before I lose that point? Oh yeah. Wait, did I lose that point? Oh yeah. The point I wanted to make was damn, I'm losing it. This shit's so slippery. Pause. Yo, go ahead. Oh yeah. Here's the point. This is gonna sound crazy, but I think you're the type of person who will understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
The only way to save this society right now is let bitches be totally unregulated when it comes to sex work. Let them go crazy. You feel me? And have brothels. If there were brothels in the U.S., it would fix everything.
Yes.
Fixes everything.
Yep.
Because it lets bitches know that your pussy is not a weapon. You can't do shit. You can't hold the pussy to my head and say you're gonna, or hold the pussy hostage, say you're gonna kill the pussy. You can't do shit when there's brothels and they're like affordable and there's a lot of hot women willing to do it. You can't do shit with that. And that would be the situation here. People think like, oh, I have to be in a bad economy. You have to be in a third world country for that. No, you just have to stop simping. If you stop simping, it happens. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like a lot of it is you can't tell the difference between, like, you can't tell in this country who the enemy combatant is. You know what I'm saying? If you're okay, so if you in DR, right? If you want some cheeks, you go to Sasua. If you want a wife, you go to like Bonnie. You know what I'm saying? Like on the North Coast, in the middle of the North Coast is where all the cheeks is at. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, they're workers everywhere, but I'm saying that's the Las Vegas of DR, right?
Yes.
But here, this country, there is Las Vegas, right? But it's sort of like Fallujah or Iraq or whatever, right? You don't know where the IAD is. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the little kid that has the bomb strapped to him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who's the enemy and who's not. Meaning, like, as a metaphor for like who's trying to run up a sex work bag and who's trying to like actually be in an actual relationship, because there's so much, like you'll have like a woman that has eyelashes and tattoos and piercings everywhere and stuff like that, and she'll be a virgin, right? And then you'll have a sex worker that looks the same way. You know what I'm saying? You can't even tell who's who.
Or you'll have the sex worker that looks plain Jane and looks normal.
Good point. Yeah.
There's no way to look at it. And I think all this is like not all this, but this is a part of it, is a symptom of male spaces being infiltrated by bitches, and also the dangers of listening to women. Because I always like to put this point out here about shout out to white men, and white men had it right back in the days. And like, I'm not saying I am saying this, but this is satire, this is a comedy channel and everything. But back in the days in the white boy movies, the bitch got out of line, the white boy would just smack the bitch, bang, just smack her. You feel me? And I'm not saying you should do that. I'm giving that as an extreme example. The real example I want to get is in those types of movies in those ages, You didn't have to smack a bitch because those guys didn't really, they like dismissed the bitch. Like those guys would be in the boys club smoking cigars. A bitch would come in like, hey honey, they would just totally dismiss like whatever toots. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like, and it's like it's as simple as that. Stop listening to bitches. Stop taking the shit so fucking seriously. Just fucking dismiss a bitch. And that's why I don't really respect this on online. Let me not say everywhere, but this online male spaces and all that shit. Because everywhere I went, except for some of the white boys, I respect some of the white boys for this, but they're the only ones that like held a true male space. Especially the black men, love to bring a bitch in when men are talking and coming to epiphany, and that they just bring a bitch on the panel to say nonsense because they want to argue and talk to the bitch so badly. Like I don't understand that shit. And even take it back to even shit that was even simpish in its day. But like even the strip club back in the day, when bitches really started going to strip clubs, like even without a guy, and bitches started going there, it ruined that whole space for what it was.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying? Because people see a strip club now and see it's like full simpish type shit. Like back in the days, the strip club was kind of lit, and there was a high chance that if you were like a cool guy, you could 100% pay a bitch. But if you were a cool guy, you can get bitches out the club. I got strippers out the club all the time. You know what I'm saying? But if you say that to a guy now, he thinks you're lying. You're saying some like trying to make some stories up or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people don't even realize what it was like pre-Tinder, the demarcation line pre-Tinder. Because even when MySpace was around, even when MySpace was still around, that was kind of popping to talk to bitches and get bitches off of there and shit like that. So it wasn't just a technology; it was a type of technology. And I think it's Instagram. But okay, here's a real demarcation line: it's Tinder, and it's when Instagram let everybody have Instagram. When Instagram was just on iPhone, when you had to have an iPhone, that's when they let everybody be on Instagram. Then shit got out of control.
Yeah. No, well, no. There's another. Okay, that's when it went downhill, or that's when it started to go downhill, right? But the bottom fell out when they put an inbox in Instagram.
So, because I wasn't there in the beginning. In the beginning, you could just put pictures. You couldn't even like DM and shit.
Yeah. So what dudes would have to do is like if you didn't want everybody to be in your business, there was no inbox. So like, say she had 1,000 pictures, you scroll all the way down and put like, hey, you go to like 151 weeks ago, right? And be like, hey, what's your phone number? I'm trying to get in contact with you, right? She would get the notification, but like other people wouldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to be creative back then.
No, hold
So
on
yeah.
Hold on the show 1 second. Gotta run. Release the beast.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, back then it was they didn't have a inbox, and you couldn't it wasn't like MySpace where you could message people or what have you. You put it up there, and you put your pictures up there, and that was just it. You would get your comments, but there was no way to directly message somebody. So that like it was. And then when you go back a little bit further, like Black Planet, right? And like we the same age. I know you remember Black Planet. And that was another wild one. But I mean, that just goes to speak about like just a larger thing as a whole, which was the fact that like you had to have something to say. You had to say, like, people had to have something to say to like even connect with each other back then. And when I say back then, it's crazy to think that like the early 2000s is back then, but like now it's back then. You know what I'm saying?
That's way back, goddamn 20 years ago, dog.
Yeah.
And here I heard like when I was on my way back, I heard through the headphones. All I heard was Black Planet, and I was like, yo, it made me remember like these different eras and things that went down. Like these shit has been so homogenized into these places where everybody's controlled in these little like surveillance experiments. They don't like there's a lot of people who barely remember when YouTube was a Wild West. This shit used to be fire. YouTube used to be the shit. Like I learned so much like deep information on YouTube that you can't even find. It's just been scrubbed off the internet. You can't find any of these videos on YouTube anymore. And then people don't realize all these little platforms that like there were like forum platforms. There were like there was like Black Planet. There was all these different things where shit was cracking in different ways. You want me to take it way back? Way
Okay.
back? Back when I like was still living with my moms and shit. I had to be like 17 or 16 or some shit like that. I got a bitch off of AOL before. You feel me?
Yeah, AOL Instant Message
Yeah,
or
instant
Instant
message.
Messenger. So you where you got to hit the female with the ASLR, right?
How's that? Yeah, age, sex, location. I need to know. You feel me?
No. And then you had to hit them with the age, sex, location, and race.
Oh, the race too.
Yeah, you had to hit them with the R too.
I do remember the race. And this just makes me remember things. I had homies because I was in South Florida, so I had like homies from all around the world. So they'd have people come and visit, and I meet their cousins and shit, some females or whatever, and they'd be using different messengers that we didn't use here. Like in South America, they were using like Yahoo Messenger more than AOL Messenger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Yahoo Messenger, that shit was some wild shit, bro. That shit was. That shit, you know what? Actually, that shit wasn't even safe for people, though. That shit was.
It wasn't.
That shit was crazy. And I wish I was like I was on the edge of debauchery. I wish I was more into crazy shit back then. So I took advantage before shit got kind of shut down and homogenized. You could still have more fun in the United States. Because let me not even go down that. Let me not even go down that road. But yeah, I don't know. Young niggas need to get out of here. Because if I was like really young, I guess because you're fully under mind control. If you're really young, that you wouldn't even realize it.
Yeah.
But shit is really bad. Like even the music is bad. I'm not saying coming up we didn't even have bad music. There was a lot because we came up in the transition phase when they were taking it away from good music, turning it into something that was half good, half bad, so they can make it palatable to turn it to full shit. Because they wanted to make everything everything we do creatively. They want to degrade it to something that to make it so white people can do it and sell it.
Yeah.
That's basically what they do. Like back. You're old enough to remember back in the days when rap was something incredible. Like niggas used because everybody black couldn't rap. Nowadays everybody black, everybody thinks they can rap. Back in the days, niggas would look at a nigga who could really put his words together and be like, "Wow, how do you do that, buddy? Like how? Whoa!" And the same way they looked at that, they would look at dancing. If you look at shit back in the days, white people would look at niggas dancing and be like, "Wow, how do you even do that? How do you even?" You feel me? And people didn't see the value. And how incredible that shit is. And this is not me just talking on my ass. You want to connect it to true science. You connect it to studying quantum physics and flow state and what that is. And how this quantum scientist studying freestyling is one of the highest levels, if not the highest level of flow state, because you're existing in 3 different spaces at one time. You're basically time traveling to do this thing that you're doing effortlessly. You feel me? So all the shit that we don't really appreciate is being manipulated and taken from us. Those are big points of research and development for people who make you think it's just trash. But you go ahead if you have something to add.
No, I was just saying, like with the music. So this is something kind of like lower key, but it was just like really testament of what you were talking about when you really like think about it and you look inward and you really process what you were listening to. The music, they were Project Pat and Pastor Troy, and I was big into Southern rap, right? Master P and all that. The thing, Lil Flip, well, he was a little bit later in the 2000s, but Ludacris, right? The thing was, they would, and this was especially common for like Southern rappers, right? They would make an album. It would be explicit content. Then they would make an edited album, and the lyrics would be completely different. You know what I'm saying?
To me, my bad to cut you off. I just want to add this. Sometimes the clean versions, to me, lyrically, were way better.
Okay, now that's what I'm saying. So, what I was saying is, if you, what is it? Saturday, right? From Ludacris, right? Ooh, it's Saturday. You know what I'm saying? That joint, right? So I can play the clean version for my son, and he has no idea what they're talking about. No idea.
You mean any of the detrimental things?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I think it was one line where they were talking about like a gun being loaded or something like that, right? But in terms of like, so what they did, he liked it because it has a whole, instead of cuss words and stuff like that, they replaced it with like sound effects, you know?
Yeah.
And like, unless you know what they're talking about, or unless you heard the explicit lyrics, if you're a kid, you don't know what they're talking about.
Yo, that's
You know,
kind of
like,
that's making me think of something right now, like how I remember that through all different types of hip hop and music. Period, they would put like a weird scratch or a sound effect to cover up like,
yes,
the crazy profanity. But nowadays they play like half the word, like they cut it off, but you still know
yes.
what they're saying. But
You
like they
still
blank
know
out like
exactly what they're saying. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. So, like, another song that was like that. Now, I wouldn't let my son listen to it like right now, but in terms of like playing it in a maybe like a high school venue or something like that, it's cool, right? Like a Pimp, David Banner and Lil Flip, right? And then so there's a line where in the explicit it says swallow the nut, right? And then in the clean it says follow the truck. You know what I'm saying? Like they just have completely different lyrics. And then so he said I wanted, like he was talking about somebody, giving him head, right? And instead of the word head, they use like a gulp sound effect. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes a certain type of art to like, you know what I'm saying? Like do that,
because you're making a great point right now. Because now I think about it, there's a lot of songs I listened to when I was a kid, and then I listened to homie fell out. Maybe you can still hurt. Maybe you can still hear. But there was a lot of tracks I listened to as a kid that when I got older, I understood all different types of things. I understood. One second. Yo, you back in here? You hear me?
Yeah, my bad on that, brother. You said there was a lot of songs that you listened to, and what?
Oh yeah, saying that when I was a kid, there was you're making a good point. I'm saying because there was a lot of songs when I was a kid that I listened to that I really liked, and then I got older and I didn't realize all the fucked up shit in the song until I was older. Like I was older and I could and I'd like, oh, he was talking about this here, or they were talking like everything was either so coded or it was like or it was taken out cleverly for the clean version that you knew in popular culture. To get the dirty version, you had to go what you heard on the radio and in like award shows or whatever. That was what was for the public. But if you wanted to get the dirty version, you had to get the CD. There was nowhere where you were just turning on something and hearing the most raunchy. There was no way to do that on the radio. You had to go get the CD physically to know that they were going this far with the lyrics. And
yeah, and when you went into Sam Goody or For Your Entertainment, FYE, you had to be 18 to get the explicit version.
Facts. And there were two versions. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I remember there being two versions of CDs. The explicit, that's I never really looked at it like that. Like it's something that's right in your face, but that does make total sense because shit was so coded that I did not realize what was. And here's another thing. Even with how degraded the rap is, that even when it got ignorant in the era that we're talking about, or we got more ignorant in the era that we're talking about, and shit got more direct, it was still coded it was still so coded on a level that if you weren't in the streets, if you didn't experience certain things in the streets, you wouldn't even know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to put together that they're talking about this type of drug or that amount of drugs or doing this or doing that if you were never in the streets. But now everybody is pretending like they're in the streets. You feel me? You might turn on the goddamn CNN news and they may say like, "Oh, they hit a lick earlier." They might say some shit like, they might say, "Oh, Elon Musk just cops Twitter." You feel me? They just use all types of nigga language in regular mainstream all the time. And I sit there like, what the fuck's going on? Like, even though like they do take everything, this is just facts. Shout out to my white people, but if you come through here, lady, you might not like this, but you take everything's been taken from niggas because we're chaos beings, creative beings that create freely, nonstop. There's a reason why your so-called slave population in the country, the motherfuckers who you didn't allow to read, have added more words to your lexicon than anybody fucking else. There's a reason. There's a reason for that. That's why I know we can look at niggas and say, oh, how they act and all this shit, but I like to look at those other things that people don't look at. Why has your slave population added more words to your lexicon than anybody else? But it is what it is. But yo, I I appreciate Brand coming through. I appreciate KB coming through. I've been on for 3 hours. I got to eat some food and maybe go do some push-ups or something. You know what I'm saying? Do some work.
My man, and man, you and was it Beta Sublife, man, y'all gotta just a channel to follow, right? Because all he focuses on is like investments, like crypto and like passports. It's a guy. His name's Ohin Imara, and his
I've heard that name before.
yeah, it's his channel's called the Crypto Gang, right? And so and do you know Black Ram 313?
Yeah, I used to be into those channels back in the days when I was into the spaces and things like that. But the thing is, like, go ahead.
Well, my whole point is not to promote them on your channel. I'm just saying, like, so like one of them does Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? The other one does Tuesday, Thursday, and then they both do like a joint show on Sunday. Sometimes on YouTube, sometimes on Patreon, right? And so like their schedule never changes. Sometimes they'll add extra. And so what I'm saying is like, my brother, like I have nothing but respect for what you're doing, right? But I'm just saying, like, I would tune in every time if I knew when you were going to be on. You know what I'm saying? Like you and Beta Sublife.
I feel you. You're 100% right. If somebody knows the schedule, they can work around it. They can want to be there. You know, like I watch Corey Holcomb show like every week for like years because it comes on at the same time every week. You just tune in and you participate in the show, and I'm with it too. Me and Beta Sublife talk about like doing shows together and doing a lives together and getting something together. But you know, I guess we're like a similar person in the way that we just moving around, living free. Like he's in the DR right now. I could be anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like. But you're right. We should do it because everybody who comes through the channel says that they enjoy the channel. Like me, I'm just talking shit. You know what I'm saying? This is how I think. This is how I am. Like every day. You know. And this is your first time coming through the channel. But I actually linked up with a homie who comes to the channel, and I met through music back. Never really met in person, but met online through music. And just like less than a week ago, he came through, met, and it was like. I guess I'm just attracting these type of people, like exactly who he presented as being all this time. You know what I'm saying? Nobody shows up and they're strange or some weird fake version. I feel like anybody who comes in these circles, especially something that I'm creating, tends to be a genuine person or doesn't last in the conversation. Because even speaking to you, I can tell that you're the type of person that you're not really gonna let bullshit fly. If you don't understand something, you're gonna be like, all right, slow down. What did you say? Can you clarify that? You know what I'm saying? I've noticed a lot in these spaces, people are just talking just to be in a group, just to be in some tribalism shit. They won't slow down, clarify. There's like and somebody likes to bullshit sometimes and all that shit. And I'm not talking down on them, but like when I'm like I love Vermeil's channel, I like Ty City's channel and stuff like that. But when I'm over there, I'm like, when niggas just start yelling and shit, I'm like, yo, the niggas stop talking about progress. You niggas ain't never doing nothing as a group ever. It's not happening. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
No, I was just saying that you could progress as an individual, but it's over as a group. You feel me? The motherfuckers are too bitch-minded.
When Ty City said that Passport Bros were weak because they were trying to go out of the country for opportunities, and he said that it was better to be here because he could own a gun, I'm like, oh, you're a clown too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out. I could definitely have your opinion on that because there's one reason why I went away and made my own space because I don't agree with any of these guys. I don't think you should have to agree with them to be in a space to have a conversation. There shouldn't be this like world when y'all are lame. We're thinking this or thinking that. How about we just talk and you let every man like do what he wants to do, and if we want to work together, we work together. If we don't want to work together, but this whole as long as you're not like simping and destroying the earth, like I don't really care what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like. Go crazy, have a good time, and it's so nonsensical that I know. So you've been around for a while. Maybe you know this guy. You know who Taylor Made Dreams is?
Yeah.
All right.
So he was a brother that was in DR, and then he left DR to go to like Thailand or something, right?
Yeah, or he went to Thailand. He might be in Africa now. He's been moving around, but I was in the Taylor Made Dreams for like way back in the days, like just a random channel I came across before he really had any subscribers and shit. When he was talking about life and just had only been in the DR so long and talking about moving and everything, and it makes me think like, and this might be a little extreme, but I don't know what he's been through. But he's talking about when he was in Georgia and he was like, I guess the propaganda was getting to him. This shit's real, but it's also propaganda. Propaganda can be real, but it can be placed. But let me get to the point. He said he was like, with the propaganda of like black men being fucked up by the police and shit and all the shit they're putting on the news and motherfuckers being killed, that he had some crazy anxiety and shit. And that said he was driving one time and the cop pulled him over and he had 2 pistols on him. He was like, he really felt like he was like, it's either me or you. I'm going to shoot this motherfucker or some shit. He was giving this crazy example and I was like, oh shit, if you really feel like that. He said, well, I don't feel like that over here. That anxiety's off my back. And then in Thai City's like, oh, I like being over here because I can have a gun. For one, you're in an environment where you feel like you need to have that all the time, or there's not even a place where you can go where you don't need it.
Right.
There's not even an environment you can be in where you don't need it. And for 2, Thai City caught a case what the case he caught was in Commonwealth, and he moved to Texas. So he's in some weird loophole where he could have a weapon. But if it wasn't for that, he would have caught a fucking assaulting a police case, and you can't have shit. You know what I'm saying? So you're only one step, you're only one misstep, you're only one lie, you're only whatever from a motherfucker taking your rights away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For whatever. So you don't really have shit here. And what do you have your gun for? To protect you from another nigga? What do you have the gun for? Could the police get out of line? And let me not say that to him because he seems like to dislike the police like I do. But if the police get out of line, I don't really see you doing what needs to get done. If they're jumping on your son, maybe you might do something. But if they're just jumping on another innocent black guy, you ain't gonna stop it. We've seen it enough times. Nobody's gonna do shit. So why we have these weapons and all the Superman shit and all that nonsense? It's like, it's kind of like even when I was in the streets and I like was carrying a pistol around on me for a period of time, it brings bad energy. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I stopped doing that, and I didn't stop hustling at that time. I stopped being around those people, and then guess what? I made more money being around rich white people hustling, and I didn't need a weaponry and all this fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So you can extrapolate that to the square world. You're a fucking square. What do you need to be strapped up for all the time? And if you are in an environment where you need to be strapped up all the time,
leave.
Exactly. Get the fuck out of that environment. Like that's the weirdest shit in the world to me, because I understand what these guys are saying sometimes, like, oh, you don't need to go over there. And and here's the thing why I gotta agree with them, but I kind of like those guys. Because some motherfuckers come over there making points are just that's why I don't join groups, because you end up being a part of a group and then you're being represented by a whole bunch of fucking weirdos saying all types of nonsense and just weird shit. You feel me? And if you're associated with this group, you're piled into this shit automatically, and then you start defending shit that you don't even believe in just because it's a part of the group think. You understand what I'm saying? So
yep.
So it is what it is. I mainly just like those guys because they're anti talking to bitches. You know what I'm saying? Just anti just having bitches come in and you try to explain shit to hoes. That's my main where I bond with those 2 channels. Other than that, I'm myself. All these like I can see that you're familiar with these spaces. Like all these other guys are fucking weird, man. I fuck with who's been who's been themselves since the beginning. Like I like Ramil. He seemed like he's saying to say the same guy. Master Teacher 1, he seems like he's never changed. He's been the same dude. Or One Master Teacher or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's very small. Like a lot of people like changed. Like Thai City, I don't agree with everything he said, but he seems like he's the same guy. But there's a lot of these other guys, they just go with the wind, and it's really like motherfuckers let bitches infiltrate their spaces and destroy their spaces. And I put that shit on Ramil too, because Ramil had back in the days. Ramil had like you had to pay the $100 argument fee or some shit to get on the panel. Niggas don't realize $100 ain't shit to a bitch. A simp gave her the $100. She'll pay the $100 to come destroy your fun and destroy you coming to Epiphany and all that shit. They don't mind. They'll pay that shit. And the thing is, he put the fee up to $304 now. And the thing is, nobody's paid it yet. But I know somebody will pay it one day. The only reason they haven't paid it yet because other bitches will see that they paid it.
Yeah.
The $100, it doesn't really matter. $304, they're like, God damn, they made you pay $304. You went up there and got kicked off the panel. But I think bending at all was the problem. Talking, like I said, the dangers of listening to women. We're in a space having a male conversation. We're all talking about solutions. We're talking about when you're kicking it with men, either you're talking crazy, having a good time, or you're talking about solutions, or you're doing both together. There's nothing else that really happens. And when a bitch is coming there, it becomes nonsense. It becomes chaos. And then I get to see who I fuck with, and I get to see who is who. I'm like, oh, you like arguing with a bitch. You're different than me. We're different people. I understand. It's okay. You can go argue with a bitch, and I'm going to go buy a plane ticket or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
The worst thing that... Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. Last thing. If I am going to argue with a bitch, she's not going to know English that good. My
Oh man, but no, yeah, I'm with you. Like just being on a panel, not being on a panel, but listening to a panel, and it's like, she's talking nonsense, and then the dudes are like, "No, let her talk." But for what? She's not talking about nothing. And it's like, my thing is, I mean, I get in trouble all the time because I'll be like, what I do with women, and it really gets me in trouble, is I force them. You play basketball, or know basketball, play it.
I know enough.
Okay, so so when you do a half court trap, right? When they get past half court, you trap on the one side, right? So they have to, you force them left, right? The only other option for them to pass is cross court to the other side, right? And then you can get you an easy layup going the other way, right? That's the whole point of it. And so I basically talk to women in a half court trap. And that is, no. I don't let one single thing slide. You know what I'm saying? Not one single thing. You know what I'm saying? And I have the memory of an elephant. I remember exactly when you said it, the context that you said it, and probably have a screenshot that you said it. You know what I'm saying? You're not about it, because, like women will just lie, you know what I'm saying, to like make their point, you know what I'm saying, or make their new point, or just like stir up chaos. Or, small D energy, or, well, why your mama black, you know what I'm saying? Like all that type of stuff to confuse stuff. Nah. That's fine, but we're still in a half court trap, man. And it's like, well, what about this? So like, I'll talk about, a woman will say, well, women need rights for the WNBA. That's a common example. I'm like, there's more women than men. All women have to do is take money and start going to the games, and then it'll be flush with cash, right? But women don't build anything. Of course we do. I'm like, okay, so why do I hear female voices on NBA broadcasts? Why are there female referees? Why are there female, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you all put that energy into the WNBA? You know what I'm saying? Well, you hate your mother. Okay, I mean, whatever. Okay, yeah, I do. Yep, hate her. Yeah, so what about what I said, though? You know what I'm saying?
It's the programming. Like, that's why here's something I also realized from being around these spaces and just moving around these little subcultures online, is motherfuckers are quoting and regurgitating a lot of what they heard other guys said, but I'm realizing, and it's kind of sad, motherfuckers really don't have experience with women. They don't really know anything. You feel me? Because you see how you're telling, you're from how you're speaking, I can tell that you have experience. Like, you've heard the programming. You've heard she gets mad. Now you're gay. Now your dick is little. Now you feel me? It's the same shit.
It's the same thing.
It shouldn't affect you after you've heard it so many times. You feel me? Because you realize it's nonsense. You feel me? Especially when you know it's complete left field nonsense. You're like, oh, that's not right. That's what I'm saying. Motherfuckers will become bitch minded and anxiety ridden by listening to women. A bitch who's been fucking you for 10 years can tell you an ugly motherfucker. You start feeling like, oh, she's with somebody better looking than me. Nigga, you were fucking the bitch for 10 years. Like, how you can affect some nonsense that the bitch says just go into your mind and affect your whole psyche when you know that nothing's real? Like, once I really settled that shit in, I'm not saying that I don't like get mad at some shit every once in a while, but it's very small now, and it's very for a very short time if it happens at all, because I realize it's all nonsense. It means nothing. I kind of like when the bitch is going crazy, talking crazy to me. I haven't had it in a while. I haven't had it in a while, but it's kind of
it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. Yeah. It it's like you know, it's one of those opportunities to organically leverage her to like sort of be your muse, you know?
Yes, you can just observe this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And once you can just observe energy and emotion, you can then direct it. You know, like as long as you're not in the I don't like to use this word, but as long as you're not in the bitch's frame, you can get her to turn up, and then this is kind of crazy. Maybe just think of this. You can do exactly what bitches do to niggas. The same thing I used to hate before I understood this when I was younger. How my bitch would start a fight with me, get me mad as hell. And then at the last moment, when I'm about to, when my blood pressure's out of here, and I've lost 3 years off the end of my life because of this bullshit argument you're talking about, at that point, she just wants to start grabbing me and then start to like try to pull my dick out and shit like that. And then I'd be like, yo, bitch, get the fuck off me. I'm mad as fuck. I realize I'm not a normal person. I realize the normal nigga just starts fucking instantly. Like that's the normal nigga just goes down this pattern. And I realized later, as long as you don't get into the shit with the bitch, you can throw her into a whirlwind of emotion, and then you can just look at it, and then you can like just pull it back. You know what I'm saying? You could just like, because you're not in the shit with the bitch. You're like, it's not that serious, bitch, or whatever. You can just, I think you can understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out the right way to articulate this shit, but you can just like direct the energy and play with the energy if you want, and then even if it doesn't work out how you want it to work out, who gives a shit? Because you already heard the truth from the bitch. Even if it's not the truth, she's speaking nonsense. But you already seen that this person will come out their mouth like this to you for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, listen, like there were you're talking about having experience or whatever. It's like once you've done it, and then like once you realize that you may have these things that you think in your head, right? But until you actually experience it and then take the experience and put it with the things that are in your head to make it like your true certified mentality. Like I had an ex, right? We were driving. We'd only been together for maybe a month or two, right? And so I picked her up from work, and she was upset that I picked her up in like the wrong spot or something, right? So like females, chaos, blah 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 blah. She was going in, right? So she took a pen, like a writing pen, right? Rolled down my window and threw it out of the window. I stopped the car and I said, "Go get it." When I tell you, I swear to you, I would have driven off and left her. You know what I'm saying? Like. Because what I've learned is you can't let anything go with them. They're constantly trying to like assess how much respect you have for yourself so they can know what their level is, And I'm like, I'm not having it, Can't do it.
I know exactly what you're saying, and the thing is like, and the more I think about this shit, like you might just be living in a different reality than most people, because most people would even consider what you said. You know what I'm saying? Like, and once you get to a level of freedom, it might be kind of fucked up, but it is what it is. You need to do it for yourself. I feel like you just need to. I've told guys this before. Like people I know, I've told people before, like, just get rid of a bitch for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just like. You would never do that. Like everybody I know, for the most part, it's very rare that I hear like a man broken up with a woman. You know what I'm saying? It's usually like even if he wants to break up with her, he'll just let it keep going until she breaks up with him, and then he ends up being sad, even though he wanted to get rid of the bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like most men don't even have that in their mind. Like just like for some small shit. Not even know like 3 months ago when you said that, I was thinking about it. I didn't like that. It's just done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's over. Don't answer the bitch. And then motherfuckers can't even take it to the next level of like leaving the bitch somewhere. Like I've done that before. Like the bitch has been acting crazy. Now I pulled her back like I had to get gas or some shit like that. I just told her to go do this or do that. They just got her out the car somehow. And then when you were far away to not bother me or cause a scene, I just left. You know what I'm saying? You got your cell phone. There's fucking Uber and Lyft on there and shit. Like,
and if not, you're man enough to find your way home. Like, you got it, sir. Like, come on, man. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Why are we allowing society to tell us that we're responsible for them when they tell us they spend their entire lives telling us we need you like a fish needs a bicycle, all that type of stuff. And I'm at a point now where I'm like, man, I'm good. You know what? You're right. You're right. Like I was at the grocery store during COVID, right? And that was when it was a shortage of like paper towels and toilet paper and everything, right? And so like I was at the grocery store, and this little sawed off woman, she was like, like women will use their feminine wow, right, to try and manipulate men into doing stuff, right? And so she was short, like maybe like 4'11", 5 feet. And so there was a box on, in grocery stores, how they have the surplus boxes of like restock on the top. So I just grabbed it, took out a couple rolls of paper towels. And then, so she was like reaching, she was going, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a kid, like I'm supposed to like respond to like nonverbal, you know what I'm saying? And then like, oh, here you go.
Too much ego to even be like, can you please just get, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm still a human. If you ask me nicely and say please, I'll grab it for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because they do that, right? Because they don't want to, their ego thinks that they're like, even though you're taller and they're short, right? Their ego says, well, this guy's beneath me, so I'm not even going to give him like articulated words to get him to do what I want him to do. I'm just going to give like guttural, like mating call grunts, and then he'll just respond because he's just because that's what men are supposed to do.
Yeah,
like, nah.
It's also risking any level of rejection, because you can say
Yeah.
no, and that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
Oh, no.
They don't even want to risk like you possibly giving any level of rejection. You know what
Nope.
I'm saying?
I went and got one, and I said, you know what? Let me probably get two, just in case, when I come back, there aren't any more. Right. So I got one, walked past her, and then I went back and got a second one and went past her and left. And she got mad. She said, why didn't you give it to me? Like, why didn't you give me one? You saw me reaching for it. I said, because I didn't want to, and I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you already have the energy that you figured this shit. You figured this shit. I don't know if you always had the energy, or you figured this out over time. Like, you know what I'm saying? But let me say this. There's I did this at some point because I had to. I had to get things out of my system. So sometimes you have to swing the pendulum far one way. I don't do this anymore, but I suggest, like, if you were a guy that's done too much for bitches, if you've been too much of a nice guy or all that shit, you should take a period in your life where you don't do nothing for women. I mean, all the shit that you've been taught in in society that you're supposed to do. Don't do nothing. Don't hold the door. Let it close on them. I don't give a bitch. I don't give a fuck if the bitch is carrying all types of shit. Like, don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it'll help your mind get to the point where you realize doing shit wasn't getting you shit anyways. Half the time, motherfuckers don't even say thank you for fucking holding the fucking door. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So just don't do anything, and it will free you, because you realize, why would I do this? And guess what? My life didn't change any when I stopped doing it. That means I wasn't getting any benefit from doing it. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't know. Maybe that seems like a simple concept, but I think it might be too far for a lot of motherfuckers. They're like, oh, what do you mean? I'm just supposed to be rude all day?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Like, I guess. like Patrice O'Neal used to say, like, oh yeah, am I supposed to be inappropriate all day? Like, inappropriate is like a vaginal word. It's like, guys, you know what I'm saying? We're inappropriate. Like, that's some shit that you have like women and children gatherings, and shit's inappropriate there. But when we're all men around each other, nothing's the only thing that's inappropriate is if it gets to some funny style level, and it shouldn't get there. So as long as you're not doing nothing funny style, nothing's inappropriate. You could say whatever you want, do whatever you want. Just don't harm the innocent or do anything like gay, and we're cool. You know what I'm saying?
Man, there was a chick at a gas station, and I told the same story on Beta Simp Life's panel. He had a panel, and it's one of my favorite stories, right? Of like, like you should have it narrated by the white, like a white dude, like, a coming of age story. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then show the scene of what I'm about to talk about. So I was at the gas station, and I went to get some gas, and there was a woman. You know how like a pump will have, each pump has like two sides, right? So I was on like the pump one side, and she was on the pump two side, right? So trunk was open. What do you call it? The tire iron was on the ground, right? She had a full spare, right? It was sitting on the ground, right? And so when I got out of the car to get gas, right, she said, She didn't say anything, right? I could only from sticking from outside of the pump. I could only see from like her lower back down. I couldn't even see the top half of her body because she was like in the trunk, right? So I went to go pay. I went inside to pay for gas because I paid with cash that time, right? So I went inside, paid, right? I pumped the car. I mean, I pumped the gas in my car, and I got in. And when I got in, I guess she decided that like I didn't take the hint, so she came over, right? And so she so she came over, and I rolled up the window and I drove off, right? I just ignored her and I drove off. I didn't even listen to what she had to say. But that wasn't the end of the story, right? So, like in my area, gas stations have to be zoned, so you'll have like 3 or 4 of them on like one block, but like across the street from each other and down the street, right? So I went to the next light, I made a U-turn, and I went to the gas station across the street so I could watch her trying to change it. Like I got a snack, I got some Bonchon chips, right? And I sat in my car to like watch her struggle with it, and no dude came. Another woman tried to come and help her or whatever, but they couldn't figure out how to put it on. And I'm like, man, this is better than, you know what I'm saying? This is like a free movie, you know? And why didn't I feel bad? Well, now on the highway, right? I'm not going to even change my own tire if I get a flat, right? That's where I pay $150 a year to AAA so that a tow truck driver can park in the right lane with his flashing lights, right? And he can change it, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to change my tire. So, ma'am, you know, in this world where we're all equals, why would you not equal or equate to yourself getting roadside assistance? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're making all this money. Men need to catch up to you. I'm sure you could spare $150 for AAA. You know what I'm saying? Get out of my face. Like, it's to the point now where I enjoy it. It makes me happy, you know?
To me, it's like, it's just the arrogance, because all you have, like, if somebody heard this conversation right now, they'd be like, "Oh, you're evil. You want women to suffer or something." Like, no, all you had to do was say, "Please help me."
Well, I mean, honestly, if she came over and said, "Can you please help me?" I honestly probably would have started talking in Spanish. I still wouldn't have done it, you know, because my thing is, I'm at a point now where I'm like just pro. I want males to be the only one that wins. You know what I'm saying? Like my male bias is like permanent now, you know?
But I wasn't even saying you. I was just saying in the world that we live in, she would have came across somebody that if you just asked nicely, it would have got done. Just because you're.
Oh yeah. But they play games.
Yeah, just the arrogance. Like, if it wasn't for the arrogance, somebody would have 100% helped you, because men are simps. So you would have came across it, because simps are in abundance. So there's no way you wouldn't have came across one. You feel me? A motherfucker probably would have stayed there and let you use his AAA if he didn't know how to use it. That's how the world is, like, that's how it is right now. You feel me? But it's just the arrogance that you just didn't want to ask that. You feel me? Like, me, to be honest, like, here, let me give this. Here's another gas station example, since we're on a gas station, of levels. There was back in the days when I was like in high school and shit, where if I heard like one of my homegirls like got done dirty or something like crazy like that, or not even, let me say, further than done dirty, like assaulted or something like that, I would believe it right away and be like and be tight over it. You know what I'm saying? Possibly if I ran into this person, we could throw hands or something. And then it went to the level later when I realized, oh, these bitches be wild and just lying about crazy shit. You feel me? And I could tell a whole nother story about that, but I'll say that for another show. But then I realized bitches just lying crazy about shit. Then I get to the point where, fast forward down the line, like I'm at a gas station, I see this guy like kind of slapping his bitch around and shit like that. And I don't want to, I had no desire to help the bitch. I don't give a fuck. But something in me is kind of like, you know, the guy slapping the bitch, you know that sometimes people will see for this. So I feel like this is me when I was just wild and crazy and like to fight and shit. I feel like you know that somebody usually would tell you to stop this. So the reason you're slapping the bitch in front of me is because you think I'm a bitch. You think I'm not gonna do anything. I get like you think you're running everything everywhere. You know? So I say something. I say something along the lines of like, "Yo, homie, don't do that in front of me. Let me get my gas, get my chips or whatever. Let me get out of here and then go smack the fuck out of the bitch. But don't do that shit in front of my face. You know what I'm saying? But now, how I think, I wouldn't say nothing. I wouldn't do that. I would, because you're not, I don't give a fuck. You're not disrespecting me. That's your life over there. Let me go get my gas. Like, get the fuck out of here. Let me keep it. Let me stay away from bad situations. You feel me? That's the evolution of this thought. You feel me? Like, I'm disconnected from this shit totally. I'm not getting into situations. You can't send me off. And here's one thing, like the last girl who I like really dated, one of the main things that I saw, like, you know, you look in retrospect, everything is 2020 in hindsight. I saw one of the main things that pissed her off that, and I can't even just fucked. I'll tell the story later, but it's too crazy. One of the main things that pissed her off is that she was in some situation, and when she told me about it, I was kind of like, "What the fuck are you doing in that situation?" Because she was somewhere where she knew if she told me, I'll be like, "Why the fuck are you there?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when she told me the situation and I didn't get hot, like, "Oh, I'm gonna go fight a nigga for you" or do some shit like that, I was just like, "No, you shouldn't have been there." I went in on her. I'm like, "What the fuck is your problem? Now you got me looking bad and shit. Like you supposed to be my bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you?" You know what I'm saying? And she's like, gets all tight and shit, like, "Oh, like you're not gonna do shit. You're not gonna say shit to them." I'm like, hell no, I'm not gonna chase this nigga down. Like whatever he was doing there, he was supposed to be doing there. That's the environment for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about what this guy was doing. And she got tight about that, and I could tell like when she started fucking with the next dude, it was because he was like some like fake half a thug guy, and like a fake half a thug guy, and just the fact that he didn't do anything, but just the fact that he vocalized that, "Man, I'll pull up on this motherfucker. Like, I'll pull the strap." Just because he vocalized that he would do some monkey shit for a bitch, it turned. I think that shit turns bitches on. You being a complete monkey, you know what I'm saying? Because even back in the days when I would like turn up and I was on some street shit or something, and I'd be in a public area and like in front of a club or some shit, and I see somebody, you know, old school bullshit I should never been into. I start turning up right there, even if I didn't put hands on the motherfucker. The fact that bitches around who see me all the time and knew my regular disposition, when they saw me get out of line, like when they saw me get where I'm really about to do something, I look around and you can tell all these bitches' pussies are wet. I can see their face, how they're looking at me with the googly eyes. Like I'm like, you bitches is love destruction. You just want to see you want to see everybody get shot. You just want to see this shit go bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and they like it. Your existence is like for their use, you know. And it's so like it's two stories I tell, right? One was well, I'll just use this one. It was a "Am I the a-hole" post from Reddit, right? And I use it to figure out where see, because the thing is, right? People will, and it goes back to what you were saying about the whole like you don't want good morning texts and stuff like that. Like I feel you, right? I don't want the small talk, you know what I'm saying? I don't want the honeymoon period, right? Like, are you a serviceable female or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, is you know what I'm saying? Like, what is your value? You know? Like, I want to know that right away. And so, there was a, you know, am I the a-hole post that somebody posted on Reddit, right? So basically it was a dude and a girl. They were in a relationship, right? And so she was going out and she was going to wear something skimpy, right? And so he was like, I don't want you to wear that, right? And you know, I don't want you to go out to this bar with such and such friend, right? And she said, okay. So she left anyway. And she went to her friend's house. They changed into something skimpy. They went to a bar. They met two guys and went to one of the guys' house, right? And they paired off, right? So the dude's girl went with one random guy and the homegirl went with another random guy, right? So the dude's girl, the dude she paired off with, went OC and raped her and beat her and like left her in like the hospital, right? And so he said, oh no, I'm sorry, I left out one detail. He said, if you leave out of the house, right, we're not together, right? And so she left out of the house. So they found out that that happened, right? And she did all that. And then so her family was like, yeah, so are you going to come and see her and take care of her? He was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. She made her choice. So she's going to have to live with her choice, you know? And so whenever I talk to a female, I always give her that example from that Reddit post, right? If there's anything except for I understand his point, I don't, you know what I'm saying? That means you, like, if you can look at that story, right, and still see, like, you know, how the woman feels in that, you know what I'm saying? Like, then you're worthless.
Yeah, 100% worthless, and you're just totally out of your mind. Because, and here's something that when people start to argue against shit that like I'm about to say right now, I just know that it's totally dumb for you. There's no point in speaking to you.
Yeah.
Because when you'll hear a bitch or somebody say talk about leadership or talk about provision or protection, I'd be like, yo, you can't lead or protect something that is not submissive to you. It's impossible. Because you can't give a directive to somebody who won't listen to you. And if you're listening to me, that means you're beneath me in this army. You know what I'm saying? So if a motherfucker's not submissive to you, you can't protect them. You know what I'm saying? And you can't lead them. That's why there's these black guy channels online. They're talking about like, oh, getting black women in line and doing all this shit. And like, I'm like, yo, how the fuck what are you trying to do? You have no power. You can't impose anything physically. You can't do anything. But they'll keep arguing like, oh yeah, you gotta lead the bitch, you gotta get the bitch in line and shit. I'm like, all right, so how do you do that? They never have an answer. I'm like, how do you lead with somebody who doesn't have to follow you or won't follow you? How do you lead? Teach me if you can't, how do you get past what I just said? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just is what it is. But you know, like, it seems like you might have gotten to that position, or like where I am. I just like to have a good time, watch the world burn. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind, just because the world is burning doesn't mean that I got to be on fire. You feel me?
Yeah.
Maybe I can be warmed by the fire. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be burning with you motherfuckers. But it is what it is. And like, yo, shout out to you, man. It's a pleasure talking to you. Cause every time someone new comes through here, it's always some turned up shit. I haven't had any assholes come through here yet, so that's kind of sad too. Because
You know how hard it would be for like someone to like find you. You know what I'm saying? Like someone to find you to like be on some foolishness. You know?
Yeah.
Like your algorithm has to only be a certain way for like channels like yours and Beta Simp Life to even show up. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Because I've seen his number. Like they got both of us at the same time. Because I saw his number was rising and it capped out like where it is right now. And my shit went up to like 320 and it like capped out. Like I lost like 2 people. And they really you know how I 100% know I got shadow banned? Because I did a video back in the day that was called I was doing a series called Creepy Sports, where I just look up bad bitches and just talk and appreciate their athleticism. And there was one with Fatima Dumay or whatever. And that shit went crazy. I think I got like, damn, is that shit like at 100 or did I get like 70,000? But it was going up. And that was driving mad shit over here. And every day when I looked at my analytics, no matter what, that video had like thousands of views and like every day, hundreds, thousands of views every day. And then one day it just stopped.
That's the she was like a
Spanish
I forget. She was like she was real super dark skinned and had like cakes that were like made in like a brass oven. Like she had like muscle power cheeks, right? But she was like she's really like African or something, but like she was in like Portugal or something like that, like as a runner.
She's Senegalese, and was playing for or on the track team for Spain, and she's just she's like a dark skinned perfect alien, you know. I love
Oh
her.
my! Hold on, I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at her pictures now. Yeah, that's who I thought it was. Shit.
But look at the K. Look at how you that little with that little frame and just and even her face is like this little cutie, a little alien. Look at her face. Look at the little alien.
Hmm.
And this bitch will jump over your whole house.
Yeah, and land right on your. Never mind. But yeah, so like that,
You know,
like look with what I just said. Look at this jump she's about to make, and think about what I just said she was gonna land on. Woo! 9 months
That
pregnant.
was, yeah. And I'm not trying to last with her either. That's you motherfuckers right here trying to like last and impress a bitch and not get your full enjoyment out. I don't care if it only took a little, as long as I get my full enjoyment. I no anxiety. I'm just fully enjoying this bitch. Look how cute she is. Look, little alien about the, look. This bitch looks like she didn't even try to jump. You see, it looks like she
Oh
was
my
just running
gosh.
and just. Oh snap!
Yeah.
Yo, we gotta go.
Yes, sir.
I'm disagreeable. This is disagreeable.
Yes, sir.
We are disagreeable. I want to say shout out to Brand. Hopefully, we catch you on another show. Maybe you have a channel, or you just be falling through.
No. I don't have any channel at all. I just made this up on the spot, or I'll be making up different nicknames and stuff. But man, you got like an Instagram, for like a disagreeable Instagram page or something like.
No, I don't. Maybe I should make one.
Yeah.
But I don't really give a shit on the bread. As long as you keep it to yourself. In the back chat, I put my my private I put my regular Instagram.
No, of course, brother. And like it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like I completely get it.
Yeah, my face is out there anyways. I don't really give a shit. I work for myself. You can't fire me. But whatever. Let me make sure I got the shit right. All right, there it goes. Boom. It's in the back chat. But
Okay.
yo, hopefully we will have another discussion. Shout out to you for falling through. Always like to have like a good conversation with somebody who was just actually thinking and not lying. You know, so that was fun. I realize you can't hear me. I got the mic sitting down and shit. But yeah, that was fun. And I'm disagreeable. We are disagreeable. That is some real cake on an athlete. On
Yes,
screen,
sir.
You feel me? And
Chocolate cake. Ooh, the shot. Oh my god. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
remember infinite possibility. You can have that. You can have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can have that. One more time. Let's see your jump. Not even trying. And we're out. No, wait. Let's see. You can show the back. Hold on. Let's see the. My bad. We're gonna see the back shot. One more
That
time
little
before we
slow
get
mo
outta here.
one where she get up. Yeah. I think it's this
Yeah.
angle.
I'm gonna end it right on there. Pause. Here we go. Yep. There she goes. Bump. Knees didn't even break. You know, regular people knees break.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is
Look
the
at her
one.
face. She's not even trying. Look what she launches. No change in the face. No exertion. No nothing. And then she gets up out of your bed like that.
Oh my god.
I don't even want to have any kids like that, but I would definitely bust in her raw without knowing nothing. You feel me? Even though that doesn't look like her real hair in her head, I let her bath with the weave.
She get a pass. She get a pass. But with everything else looking like that, she gets a pass.
Yeah, but shout out to her, shout out to Brand, shout out to everybody. I gotta go do some things. Peace.
All right, brother.